All right, guys, welcome to Press X Podcast episode 140, and also the final episode of Press X Podcast for the year. I want to thank everybody for showing up at an abnormal time. Hope you guys like the hat. Trying to get into the Christmas spirit. Trying to make things a little bit more festive. I have some hot chocolate here. So I hope everybody is having a good day so far. I almost said Christmas Eve. It's not Christmas Eve yet. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. Yeah, I got some hot chocolate, some marshmallows in there. Yeah, so you guys are really figuring out what you're doing. What's interesting is I feel like I'm seeing some new faces here too, which is cool, because that's the thing is I'm doing this podcast at a different time on a different day as well. So this is a very abnormal podcast episode. Normally I do Press X podcasts live every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. That's how it's been, if I'm not mistaken, I think since it started. I think that's how it's been for all 139 episodes so far. But Christmas falls on a Sunday, and it's just 2 days from now. So, I was really thinking, like, should I do the podcast before? Should I do it after? I just figured, you know what? I'll do it on the 23rd. I'll do it on a Friday evening. Why not? I don't know what to expect, but I just wanted to try to do one more to close out the year and make sure we could kind of have a, just that final hurrah, I guess. And actually, let me double check here. Saying you're burning the midnight oil. Yeah, I mean, I imagine some of my normal viewers are tuning in at a much different time, a much later time. Some people are probably gonna have to watch it later. But I'm looking at the calendar, and let me see. Yeah, so what's really interesting to think is the next podcast episode 141, is actually going to happen on January 1st. So the first day of the new year. So that's pretty interesting. Huh. That's actually kind of unlucky for me if you think about it, because Sunday, Christmas, can't do a podcast then, and then the next January 1st. But you know what? I'm definitely going to do a podcast on January 1st. That just feels right. That just feels right. I feel like that's actually a really, really great way to kick off the new year with the channel, doing a podcast. Space Gambler Jr., notice your new profile picture there, man. I'm liking it. Saying Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, you filthy animal. Yeah, thank you, man. Same to you. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Obviously, this is the time of year where people tend to relax, really decompress, spend time with family and friends, and do some of the most important things that you do in life, right? So hope everybody is like I said, I hope everybody's doing good and in good health. But I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of some of the topics we are going to discuss tonight. Now, I also want to preface this by saying I don't know what to expect. I don't normally podcast at this time of the day. So with that being said, I don't know that I can promise like a 3.5-4 hour episode. We do have more to talk about than I expected, although nothing too significant. And I'm hoping you guys will stick around, because I actually did put out a community post asking you guys to give me some questions, give me some thoughts, some opinions, anything, just something that I can read here on the final episode of the podcast. So yeah, I'm hoping that we will definitely go in some interesting directions. But some of the things that I'm going to be discussing today, because I do want to make sure we have some topics to go over. We're going to talk about Sony attending CES 2023. This is, I think, worth discussing because, this is technically the first event that we're going to see PlayStation attend in 2023. And a lot of people are kind of wondering, what exactly should we expect? What should our expectations be? I'm going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about Final Fantasy 16 and how it's received a mature rating, but some of the things that apparently are going to go down in Final Fantasy 16, this is by far the most mature Final Fantasy game that apparently, we're ever going to see. And to me, that's just interesting. That's fascinating because I've never really viewed the Final Fantasy series as like a extremely mature themed series. I mean, there are mature themes there, but it just seems like in this case, like there's going to be more violence. It's going to be kind of, I don't say over the top, but I think I saw somebody like say it's basically Grand Theft Chocobo, it's pretty interesting. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about Gran Turismo, specifically how the game is celebrating or the series, I should say, is celebrating its 25th anniversary, celebrating a huge milestone. There's also a little bit of conversation about whether or not GT7 is coming to PC, a little bit of confusion there. We're going to talk about PlayStation VR 2 a little bit and how it will, in fact, be getting physical games, but it just comes down to apparently the publisher and the developer if that's what they want to do. We're going to talk about Santa Monica Studio giving us one final God of War Ragnarok update, or piece of information, I should say. Something else we're going to talk about that I just found interesting is how we've been seeing more of an influx of, I guess you could say, instances where the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are being compared to one another with certain games, and we're seeing the PS5, start to have an edge here and there. But what's even more interesting than that, and what I wanted to focus on when we get to that topic, is how we have a developer that has just come out and flat out confirmed what we've been talking about for multiple years now. Just flat out confirmed it. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about Bungie and their next game. Probably talk about Hideo Kojima, Death Stranding 2, some things being said there as well. And as I said, we have some community posts that we'll go over too. Jacob, you're saying Sony should make an RPG style, like a Killzone RPG style, like Starfield. That would actually be really cool. I would love to see Sony dive deeper into RPGs of any kind. And I think that they're going to need to do that if they're planning on really competing at a high level with specifically Bethesda and the RPGs they got going on there. And obviously they got Fable coming, Microsoft that is, and they got a lot of stuff going on there, Valve. And Sony doesn't really have too many RPGs from their first party. So I think that, I don't know that it'll be in the Killzone universe, but that would be really interesting. I got to say that would be very interesting. Before I dive into any of these topics, though, I do want to let you guys know a couple ways you can help support the channel directly. Just being here, watching the content, I always say that helps the most. Some other things you can do, though, if you want to go above and beyond, hit that like button. Hitting the like button helps with the YouTube algorithm, helps the content. If you really want to go above and beyond, consider donating a super chat. I rely on the super chats to be able to continue to do this podcast every single week and continue to create the content at the rate that I do. So if it's in your means and you feel inclined to do so, consider doing that. And if you want, consider becoming a channel member as well. That's another way you can support me directly. So thank you to everybody who does. I see somebody asking Raymond, MBG, did you see that the snitch quit? Yeah, I saw that. I can't say I'm that surprised. The snitch, I feel like, is an insider that kind of blew up a little bit earlier this year, came out of nowhere, and really was kind of the talk of the town, I guess you could say, for a little while there. And then they really started to slow down with their leaks. And then now it's just kind of got to a point where they're like, yeah, I'm out, and you have to imagine it's maybe because they lost a way to get that information or something. I don't know, but I did see that. And it is what it is. I'm sure, we lose one insider and another one will rise from the ashes in due time. So, it'd be funny though. Could you imagine if 2023 is the year of zero insiders? That would be pretty funny. Like we just go all of 2023. There's just no insiders giving out any information whatsoever. That'd be pretty interesting. Kratos99, you're saying, nice hat, MBG. Hope you and your family have a wonderful Christmas. Thank you so much for that, Kratos99. Hope you and yours have a great Christmas as well. And I'm glad you like the hat. My wife suggested the hat. I originally wasn't going to wear it, but, we had it lying around, and she's like, oh, I think that'd be a good idea if you wore it. So, I was a little bit self-conscious because I don't normally, wear a hat like this. But yeah, I'm glad you like it, man. And a Space Gambler Jr., thank you for gifting a membership. That's actually something that I forget is a thing now on YouTube. Yeah, you can gift memberships if that's something you're interested in. I do believe you have to opt into it, though. There's a setting within YouTube where it'll ask you if you want to be part of that. So you can be gifted memberships. So do I have any presents to open on the stream? No presents tonight. Saying you're glad you looked at your YouTube. Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine there are going to be some people who are unaware that I'm even doing the podcast right now. I tried my best to let everybody know the past couple podcast episodes that I would be doing it at a different time and on a different day. I look like Odin with that hat. Nice. It's awesome. Merry Christmas, Space D. Merry Christmas. Thanks, King TV. I don't know if I said your name correctly, man. I apologize if I butchered it, but you're saying a donation for the hat. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, the hat's proving to be very popular. Certainly more popular than I anticipated. So I'm happy about that. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. All right, let's dive right into the first topic here. The first topic, we'll talk about PlayStation at CES 2023. Now, I do also want to say, before getting into it really quickly, I'm going to try my best to not talk too much about PlayStation next year. I don't want to talk too much about PlayStation 2023. Obviously, in my title, something I didn't even mention it in my topic list, but it's in my title. We're going to be talking about PlayStation in 2022. I'm going to be giving my personal review on it, letting you guys know what I think. How did PlayStation do this year? Did they live up to my personal expectations? And did they live up to the expectations of the PlayStation fan base in general? We're going to talk about that, but I want to really try to hold off on how much I talk about PlayStation in 2023 specifically, because I want to try to focus my first podcast of the year, which is again on January 1st, 2023, on really making that episode dedicated to talking about our expectations, our predictions, and just PlayStation 2023. But in this case, we do have to talk about CES. Lyro, you're saying, imagine a God of War MMORPG spin-off that have worlds between Norse and Greece, also meeting the main game characters like Red Dead/GTA Online did. Yeah, that would be really interesting, man. I mean, there's certainly enough there to do something like that, but I don't know. I don't know if they would. I don't know if Santa Monica Studio, or really many of Sony's main, I guess, marquee studios, I don't know if they would do something like that, only because PlayStation studios are known for having that prestigious, high quality narrative. That's not to say you can't have that in an RPG. You absolutely can, but I get this feeling that most of Sony's successful, like, single player narrative driven games, while some of them do have RPG aspects to them, certainly some of them more than others, I think in general people kind of look at it and they think to themselves, it's an action adventure game. And I think that most of the studios want to kind of stay in that lane, but I would totally be open to seeing, Santa Monica Studio do something like that. As far as we know, Santa Monica Studio is working on a new sci-fi themed IP that, who knows when it will be revealed? Maybe it could be revealed next year. Maybe it won't be revealed until 2024. But apparently it's a new IP, and I could see them definitely going in the direction of, let's make this thing a full-blown RPG. That would be very interesting to me, certainly. So thank you for that, Lyro. Let's talk about Sony at CES 2023. So, first off, what is CES? CES happens every January, and it's an event where every major tech company around the world, they all gather together to show off their latest technology, the latest and greatest, the most cutting edge stuff. And, they all have some presence there. And Sony obviously is there every year. Now, in the past, Sony has not talked too much about PlayStation at CES. And I'm talking like pre 2020. However, from 2020 to 2022, Sony has had a bit more of a presence when it comes to PlayStation at this event. For example, in 2020, Jim Ryan revealed the logo of the PS5. It wasn't anything major, but you have to remember at that time, it was a big deal to a lot of people because we were thirsty for literally any piece of information we could get on the PS5. So that's what they did. It made headlines, of course. And then the next year, they had a little short video talking about PlayStation, hyping things up. They didn't necessarily reveal anything new. I think they also gave some sales data as well. But this year, and it's funny because I can still say this year, it was in January, they did a little bit more than that. They actually promoted the Uncharted movie, which was a first. And then on top of that, they had Jim Ryan come out and announce PlayStation tournaments. And then he also announced PlayStation VR 2, specifically the name, and then also talked about the features. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was at CES 2020 that Sony announced the PS5 features as well. Could be wrong about that. Could be misremembering. But all this to say that it seems like we're going to get something from PlayStation on January 4th. That's when CES is taking place. The reason why we know this is because Sony has a video stream set up, which I may do a live reaction to, and featured right there on the thumbnail is PlayStation VR 2. Now, I've seen some people express some frustration where they're like, so you're telling me Sony goes all of 2022 without having a single proper showcase, and then when they finally do something in 2023, it's going to be something likely relatively tame and small for PSVR 2. Well, I got to let you know that very well could be all we get at CES. And I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't expect much more than that. Could Sony come out with a little surprise? Could they? Yes. In fact, something that some people have been speculating, although I don't know. I don't know if I'm anticipating this. Something that some people have been expecting is maybe getting the PlayStation 5 Slim announcement. And of course, now my cat sees that I'm podcasting. It doesn't seem to matter what day I do it, at what time. He is now getting into some Christmas gifts and the wrappings that he shouldn't be. So he's clearly trying to test my patience here, but I'll leave him be as long as he doesn't destroy it. But some people are speculating that maybe we are going to see the announcement of the PlayStation 5 Slim. Now, I will admit that CES does seem like the place that Sony would do it, simply because that is where companies show off their latest cutting-edge technology. Psst, come on. I swear, man, my cats always start doing the weirdest stuff when they see me over here podcasting. It's like they're getting jealous that I'm not giving them the attention. And yeah, some people are thinking, I'm going to tell you now, there's no chance this happens. Some people, although not many, are thinking, oh, maybe they'll show off the PS5 Pro. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. That's off the table. PS5 Slim, though, I could see that. So I'm not saying that I'm going into CES 2023 anticipating that Sony's going to have a new game announcement. That's not the place where they're going to announce games. They could do something for PlayStation Productions. Maybe we'll get our first trailer for like, I don't want to say God of War or Horizon. That seems a bit too soon. I know the Twisted Metal series has been apparently going on for some time. Maybe we could get our first trailer for that, the TV series. And, look, to me, that's not the most exciting thing. Like, I'm not going to be tuning in to CES 2023 to have Sony talk to me about a show, or Maybe they'll do, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, they'll probably do something for The Last of Us HBO. That's actually releasing in January. So now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like it's almost a guarantee we're going to see it show up to some extent. We'll see some PSVR 2, but I don't know, man. I will say I think Sony has a little bit more incentive to maybe go a little bit bigger with PlayStation at CES, just because it's true. They didn't do a showcase. And by the time January rolls around, it would have been months, almost a whole quarter since Sony did a state of play. So maybe there's a chance they would want to, spice up the PlayStation's presence at CES just a little bit. See somebody saying Ghost of Tsushima movie. Wouldn't expect that yet. Seems a little too soon. Jerome, you're saying with you playing Final Fantasy games now, will you play some older ones or just the new exclusive ones? LOL. And you're also asking, am I getting the new controller with the bad battery? So, that's something I've been thinking about. I'm really unsure when it comes to Final Fantasy. The thing I am sure of is I'm going to play Final Fantasy 16. I don't know. I mean, I guess they're changing some things quite significantly with Final Fantasy 16. I've been following this game. I've been listening to what the directors or the director and the producers of the game are saying and how they want to try to have a more Western appeal, a more global appeal with the Final Fantasy brand, and they want to make it more action oriented. And I'm like, look, I'm a fan of JRPGs, but I'm also a fan of that. I like this idea that they want to make it more action based, and I'm seeing it. Like, it is appealing to me, to whereas traditionally, at least most of the mainline, if not all of the mainline Final Fantasy games, they just never really caught my attention. And, it's not just because it's exclusive. I mean, the fact it's exclusive it's a pretty big deal for PlayStation. It's a huge deal for the PS5. And a part of me would feel like, Final Fantasy 16 is a game that's big enough that I would have to cover it to some extent for the channel here. But when there's a game that's coming out that I'm not interested in, whether it's a PlayStation exclusive or not, I'll let you guys know. Like, it's just not something I'm really into, not looking forward to it. And I'll also let you know if I'm apprehensive about it. Like, if I take a chance and I'm like, I'm not really excited for it, but I'll let you know how I feel. With Final Fantasy 16, I'm actually not feeling that way. I am feeling very confident because I played Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I know that, many aspects of 16 are going to be very different. But I was so shocked. And that's actually, that's worth mentioning. I wanted to kind of run down some of the games that I played in 2022 that really blew me away and the games that really stood out to me. And I know Final Fantasy VII Remake didn't come out this year, but this was the year where I played it. And it blew me away, man. Like, I loved it. It was one of the best games I played all year. Certainly a standout. So that alone ensured that I was going to play Final Fantasy 16 no matter what. When it comes to playing older games, though, I'm going to be truthful. The chances of me doing so, very, very slim. Like, I'm probably not going to. Like, I see the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters coming out, and I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good. I don't have a desire to go and play those games. It's no disrespect to the series, obviously, but it's tough because I just feel like I was always, as I said, very intimidated by Final Fantasy, and I still do feel pretty intimidated by it, quite frankly. I'm excited for Rebirth because I played Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm liking what I'm seeing of the trailers. Like, every trailer we've seen of Final Fantasy 16, like, to me, there's just something about it that it's appealing to me in a way that no other Final Fantasy game has in the past. I know people are like basically saying like it looks like Devil May Cry combat, and I'm like, yeah, that looks awesome. Like, that sounds awesome to me. And I'm interested to see how the story goes. I like the intensity. I like the drama behind it. And I'm sure that, just like after I finished Final Fantasy VII Remake, a lot of Final Fantasy fans are like, dude, you got to play this next. You got to play that next. And it's like, well, we'll see. We'll see. I get to things at weird times. And I think Final Fantasy VII Remake is a good example of that. But I'll be there at the launch of 16. And it remains to be seen, Jerome. It remains to be seen whether or not, whether or not I'm going to play these older older Final Fantasies. You're saying, Rooferman, you're saying not to be rude, MBG, but you lost like half of your viewers. Yeah, well, that's the nature of it, man. You know, that's the thing is, but you know, something I did consider doing. I did consider this. I was thinking of doing a pre-recorded podcast and just releasing it on Christmas for anybody who maybe would want to tune into it on Christmas at my normal time, and let that. But I kind of chickened out of it because I was a little bit nervous. Like I don't want to. I don't want to. Like I was almost afraid. What if I did a pre-recorded podcast? What if it went really poorly? Right? Like I should have just done a live stream of like I always do. Or what if it went really well? I might still do it in the future. It's not entirely ruled out, but I almost did consider that because I had a feeling. I had a feeling. You're saying never do that, MBG. Well, here's the thing. If I did a pre-recorded podcast, a couple things would change. Number one, it would not be nearly as long. It would be much more organized, much more concise. It would probably be like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at most. Maybe a little bit longer, depending on like what we're talking about. I would also still take questions from my community. There, I would try to. I don't know. They, what's interesting is they have a because obviously a big aspect of the podcast that I do here is it's the interaction. It's the interaction. I mean, obviously, if I ever do something pre-recorded, there's no there's no chat really. So that can be a problem. I gotta ask my wife to get the cats out of here. I mean, the only reason that would be a problem is because, I think a lot of people come to the podcast for the chat, but also there's super chats. The super chats are a huge way that you guys interact. And what's interesting is YouTube has added like the tip jar as what they call it, or a super comment or whatever it's called, where it's basically a super chat, but in a comment form underneath a video. And I was almost thinking, like, if I ever were to do a pre-recorded podcast, maybe what I could do is, anybody who donates a super comment, I don't know if that's actually what they're called, but that's what I'm going to call it. Basically, I'll take those into the next pre-recorded episode and acknowledge them and answer them then. That's just it's one possibility, it's just something I was thinking of. But I just decided to stick with what I've already established here, which is doing a live stream. And so Space Gambler Jr. says that's a great idea. I may do it. Because I'll put it this way. It would be an experiment. All right. It wouldn't be one of these things where it's like, okay, guys, I'm announcing that I'm no longer doing live podcasts. They're all going to be pre-recorded. I wouldn't do that. I would simply present it as I'm going to experiment and do a pre-recorded podcast. Let's see what it's like. Let's see how you guys like it. Maybe, if it goes relatively well, we'll do it for a couple weeks. And if it seems like it's something that you guys would like better at the end of the day, and I saw better results or something like that, then I could do it like that. But right now, I think everybody basically expects a live stream every Sunday. So it's not off the table. We'll see. I'm almost considering doing it for my first podcast of 2023. I'm almost considering doing it just because I feel like, I don't know, it's the first day of the year. So really there's just so many different directions I could go in. You're saying, but the super chats cause side mission topics. And that's true. And I feel like that's the thing is the problem with my podcast in general, in my opinion, is it's somewhat dysfunctional. It's not very organized. It's kind of messy, but that's kind of the nature of it, right? Like it's more free flowing, free form. I can have my topics written down, but like you said, I get many super chats, and those super chats, help pull me in other directions, which I enjoy. I think it's fun, but I know that some people also would prefer a more not tame, but like organized kind of like, beat by beat podcast. So we'll see, guys. I'll think about it. And, it's also, here's another one for you really quick before I get way too off topic. If I were to do a pre-recorded podcast, what's really interesting is I would still be able to live stream it through a premiere. YouTube does premieres. I've never done them before, but essentially what that would be is you would be watching a pre-recorded podcast that I put out, and I would be there live watching it with you and in the chat and able to interact with the chat as you guys are watching it live. Obviously, that's different. That's a little bit kind of, I don't know, that's kind of strange to me. I think it's a cool idea, but I've never done a premiere. I just think it's so interesting to basically be like, wow, I'm going to be an audience member. Yeah, MBGception. I'm going to be an audience member of my own podcast. That sounds kind of wild to me. But it's also very intriguing to the point where it's like, I almost want to experiment and just see what it's like. So we'll see, guys. I'm only talking about this because I was already thinking about it. And I saw somebody mention how, like, the viewership is really low right now. Yeah, it's a Friday evening. I don't do podcasts on Friday evenings. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll be sure to let you guys know, though. And please, if you're listening to this, like, after the fact, if you are, or you know what, everybody who's in the chat right now and anybody who might be listening to this after, please do me a favor. Give me your feedback in the comments of this podcast. Let me know what you think about some of the ideas I'm throwing out there, or if you have ideas of your own. I'll be interested to see what you guys have to say. But Jerome, to finish answering your question about the getting the DualSense Edge, I gotta be honest, it's not something I'm picking up day one. It's not something I'm picking up day one. And it's not because of the battery life. It's really not. Like, this is one of those situations where I feel like people are, and I know how this is going to come off. I know people are going to think, dude, you're being a shill, a PlayStation shill. I really am not trying to make it sound like that. I'm just being totally honest in that I feel like people are overblowing the battery thing, where Sony came out and they said the battery life in the DualSense Edge, and this is their $200 premium controller, is moderately less than the standard DualSense. Don't get me wrong, that is bad. That is not good. If you're going to pay $200 for a controller, that's not what you want to hear. And the reasoning Sony's giving is they're saying that, look, it's got more features. It's basically, the way they worded it, they almost made it sound like they couldn't put a bigger battery in there. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I doubt that's true. It probably has to do with, like, how much it costs to produce the controller versus, they have to keep it within a reasonable price range. But to me, it's one of these things where I genuinely feel like people who were already planning on buying that controller likely don't care, at least to the degree where it's not a deal breaker. Like, I think people are gonna moan about it, where it's like, come on, Sony, like, really, like, why are you telling me that? Why are you telling me this? It's a $200 controller. Tell me it's better, not worse. But it's something that they have to, I guess, be honest about. But I realistically believe that a lot of PlayStation fans are going to buy it because it's the PlayStation controller. This is the first time Sony's really gotten serious about offering a premium controller like this. So I think that there's automatically going to be a lot of people who buy it because it's the one that PlayStation made. I think that there are going to be a lot of people like myself, where I have the official PlayStation charge stand, or charging station, and it's great. Works perfect. And I have 2 DualSense controllers on there at all times. And I'm going to tell you right now, I game a lot, guys. Please, I understand I game a lot, like certainly more than the average person. I did my my PlayStation recap thing that they do each year, and I think I put it was like 1,300, 1,400, or was it 16? I'd have to check it again, but it was like 1,400 hours, which to me is a lot. Like, that's a lot of time gaming, in my opinion. Like, that's a lot of time spent on my PS5 over the course of a year. And when I tell you that there was not a single time, and I'm not exaggerating, not a single time where I had that notification pop up saying you need to charge your DualSense, it's about to die. Not once. I know people are going to think I'm crazy. Not once. Even when I played games that had, that were taking full advantage of the haptics and stuff. As far as I can, I mean, maybe it happened once. I don't want to, like, misremember, but I'm just pointing this out because it's like, I think most PlayStation fans who are really looking forward to this DualSense Edge controller, they probably already have a setup where it's like, you know, you're playing for a couple hours at a time, you're hopping off, putting it right on the charging dock, you come back, it's full again. And I don't know, I saw people comparing it to the Xbox Series controller, and now I have to admit, I don't have any experience with the Xbox, not Series, the Xbox Elite controller, the Series 2. The Xbox Elite controller Series 2. I saw people saying that like that has a 40-hour battery life. Am I mistaken? Does that? But that's because it takes AA batteries, correct? Is there something I'm missing here? You know, and this is where I feel like it's kind of different, where I don't know that you can compare a controller that, you know, is battery powered or using AA batteries versus, you know, a controller that's, you know, has a battery built in. I'm gonna have to let my cat out. I forgot to let her out. She's crying at the door. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, like, am I wrong about that? Because I feel like my big thing with this DualSense Edge controller, if I guess the way I'm viewing it is, if you're playing, like, let's just say a competitive multiplayer game, because I feel like that's kind of what this controller is geared towards, right? The DualSense Edge. If you're playing a competitive multiplayer game and you get sucked into it, assuming you're playing with a full charge on that controller, I feel like, okay, maybe you're going to put 4 hours straight into it. That's a long time, in my opinion, for a single gaming session. But I know a lot of people go beyond 4 hours. So you put 7 hours, 8 hours. Like, you're still likely, assuming that the game you're playing isn't taking full advantage of every feature that on the controller, it's probably still going to hold up. But like, the worst case scenario is after like an 8 to 10, maybe even 12-hour gaming session, again, depending on how much it's taking advantage of the controller's features. Worst case scenario, you just got to use the really long cord that they give you, the braided cord, and plug it in for a little while you're gaming. And I guess to me, it's just like, I'm not getting it at launch. I hope to get it at some point. Excuse me. But when I do, I'm just not thinking about the battery life. I'm just not, you know, because it has not been a problem for me whatsoever. And you're saying the Xbox Elite is not batteries, it's a 40-hour charge. Really? Okay. Well, that's a big difference. That is definitely, you know what? Let me I want to make sure. Does the Xbox Elite Series 2 take batteries? Let me see. So the Xbox Elite Series 2 is, how much is this controller? Charging dock. How to care for your controllers. Oh, okay. It says it has a battery life of up to 40 hours. Really? I didn't know that. That's like a revelation for me. It has an internal rechargeable. Oh, you know what? Okay. I had no idea. Wow. I had no clue. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? Now I get it. Let me, I'm going to take a couple steps back. Here, because I was so confused as to why people were comparing it so heavily to the Elite Series 2. Not only is it cheaper, but yeah, that's a good, 40 hours of battery life. That's a yeah, in terms of battery life, Xbox has the edge big time there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am taking into account The Elite Series 2 controller does not have any of the features that the DualSense does, in terms of it doesn't have haptic feedback. It's not taking advantage of the adaptive triggers. It doesn't have a speaker built in, all that stuff. So, I would never expect a DualSense controller of any kind to have a battery life that long, just simply because of the features. Yeah, the microphone. So there's certainly a lot of good reasons why the battery is draining more, a lot quicker, much more quickly in the DualSense. But yeah, that's a tough look, I think. I think that's a tough look for Sony. Yeah, that's worth pointing out as well, too, is a lot of the features that the DualSense offers you can turn off, which you have to imagine will greatly increase the battery life. So yeah, Jerome, to answer your question, am I going to be getting the new DualSense Edge? I do plan to at some point. I don't feel the need to have it at launch. Honestly, once Sony starts releasing some more competitive multiplayer games, which they're clearly getting ready to do, that's probably when I'll invest in one, because that's probably when I'll leverage it the most. And that's probably why Sony decided to make it, right? So how about you guys? How many of you guys are getting the DualSense Edge? And what about the battery life for you? Is that a make or break situation for you? Definitely wondering if it's just me here. You're saying they should have made it $150. Yeah, it is. That's the thing. It is a bit it is a bit pricey. It is. It's expensive. Like, it's hard. I think you have to really, like, that's why I'm not getting it at launch, because I know that it's a controller that's geared towards getting like a slight competitive edge. And, until I'm playing a game where I feel like I could really use that, I'm going to hold off. Oh, man. That's good. That's good. That's some good hot chocolate right there. Oh, good stuff. I never have hot chocolate on the podcast. So I'm like, yo, this is good. This is good right now. You're saying the replaceable thumbsticks is a big win for the Edge. And Jerome, you're saying Final Fantasy 15 is action-based. Have you played it, or will you? I don't know, man. I've heard mixed things about Final Fantasy 15. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I played the Forspoken demo. And if I'm not mistaken, the team that made Forspoken and is making Forspoken, they're the same team that made Final Fantasy 15. And I told you guys how I felt about Forspoken and the demo, saying how much rum is in that hot chocolate. There's no rum in there. It's just plain hot chocolate, I promise. But yeah, I don't know, man. That makes me a little bit hesitant. But thank you for the super chats, Jerome. Josh, you're saying, how hype is it that Insomniac will be masters at developing for the PS5 by the time Wolverine comes out? I bet you Wolverine will be the PlayStation 5 showpiece. I agree, dude. You're absolutely right about that. Wolverine, I don't think Wolverine's coming at the end of the generation, but I think it's coming obviously in the second. I don't want to say obviously. We don't know how long the generation is going to last. But let's assume that the generation lasts until 2027, around that time. Then Wolverine will come out during the second half of this generation. And that's really when you start to see some special things happen. The first half of a generation is always exciting, and it's always, kind of gets its hooks in you. But as we see with every generation, it takes some time for developers to really get it all together and really start getting familiar with it and getting their engines fine-tuned. And Insomniac has already been doing that, right? They've already been doing great things. So dude, it is very exciting, Josh. Like that does genuinely get me excited, because I think Spider-Man 2 is already going to be a showcase for the PS5. I think that is going to be a showpiece, as you put it. But it will be very exciting to see. Is Insomniac going to be able to one-up themselves? I'll tell you this. If Wolverine is not an open world game, We have no idea if Wolverine's going to be open world or not. I feel like it might be, but let's just assume it's a linear, like almost like maybe like a God of War type, wide linear, more wide linear. If that's what Wolverine ends up being, oh, I think this game is going to melt people's faces. Because at that point, Insomniac will be able to do things graphically with Wolverine that they couldn't do with Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's an open world game. So that will be interesting. That'll be very interesting to see. And Josh, again, you're saying, I just found out that Housemarque is bigger than Bluepoint and Haven is bigger than Housemarque. Haven is already almost as big as Bend. Yeah, dude, this is... I know I got to be careful because I really do not want to talk about next year. I want to save that for my first podcast, but I'm just going to say, and I'm going to say it quickly, this is why I cannot wait to learn more about PlayStation Studios and what these teams are working on, because I'm not going to lie to you, I forgot about Haven. I completely forgot about them. Not only is this a brand new team that's, Jade Raymond is, a big force there, creator of Assassin's Creed, if I'm not mistaken. Mark Cerny is working with Haven on whatever this game is. But I also got to keep my expectations in check, because here's the one thing. Here's the one thing about Haven Studio where I am getting a little bit, damn, PlayStation Pete coming in big, man. I'm gonna come to you, PlayStation Pete. Thank you very much for that, man. Very nice of you. Josh, the only thing that makes me a little bit nervous about Haven Studio, and I'm curious to see what you guys have to think, or what you have to say, and what you do think. This game that Haven's working on, it sounds a lot like Dreams. They haven't shown anything of it, but when they talk about it, it's like a creation game. It's almost like they're making a game engine. So I got to be careful with how hype I get about Haven, only because it's like, I got to see it. It could go in any direction. I am excited at the talent that's there. I'm excited, like you're saying, how big the team is already. The crazy thing about Haven Studio is that based off of everything we've heard about them, they are trying to, I think, completely change how AAA game development can be done. And I think that's a big deal. Like, they're involved with some, cloud technology in terms of development, not for the game, but for development of the game. And this is like a first in video game development. And Sony wanted in on the ground floor. Sony wanted to be there and say, this could be big. We gotta lock these guys down. So I'm actually, believe it or not, when it comes to Haven, I'm more interested in learning about what they're doing from an engine perspective, from a game development perspective, a little bit more than I am the actual game, as crazy as that sounds. But the game I'm excited about too, because, dude, is this going to be Mark Cerny coming out? Knack 3, but the most AAA Knack 3 you'll ever imagine, because we got Haven working on it. I don't know. I'm going to get to these other super chats, but first off, I got to give a big shout out to PlayStation Pete. Thank you, man. That's a very generous donation. PlayStation Pete donating $100, man. That is very kind, very generous. And, as I say at the beginning of every podcast episode, I rely on you guys, my audience. I don't have a ton of, sponsors, and I'm not doing a bunch of ads. And believe me, it's times like this I feel the need to say this. And I don't want to, I'm not going to sit here and make any promises that it'll never happen. But believe me when I tell you, I've gotten many offers to do, certain ads. And believe it or not going to name names, certainly not. But I've gotten quite a few sponsorship offers for mobile games. And it always puts me in such a strange position, because I'm like, well, that's cool, that I'm even getting that opportunity, and I'm obviously very thankful for that. But when I look at the games, I and what they're asking of me, it's one of these things where it's like, it feels wrong. It does, because of what I'm what I stand for here on my channel. It's no offense to the games, but it's as simple as I could not in good conscience recommend anything unless it's like genuinely something I know I would be interested in and enjoy. And all this to say that, this is why I express each week to you guys that I truly do rely on you guys to be able to continue to do what I do here and do the podcast each week. And I try to kind of, I don't want to say it's like, I don't say I have to put pressure on you guys, but just because I feel like that works better. Like that makes me feel more comfortable to be supported by those who enjoy the content, who engage with it, who care about it. I'd much rather do that than have to feel like, well, I gotta advertise this and advertise that. And that's not to say that I wouldn't advertise anything or take a sponsorship offer for something that I believe in. I certainly would, but just all that to say, thank you, PlayStation Pete. I see you every week here, man. Been a long time member, and it's the holiday season, and I know times are tough for everybody, so really appreciate it. Anyway, I should probably read your super chat. You're saying a Christmas gift for a great YouTuber, MBG Press X to lift. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's funny. I don't know if you said Press X to lift. If that's just something that came into your mind, because obviously muscle-bound gamer. But it's funny because, dude, the first ever episode of Press X podcast, I think it was, I know it was in 2020. I think it was in like March or April of 2020. So the podcast is coming up on its 3-year anniversary soon, which is crazy. Crazy. But, I actually titled that first podcast, and I think it might still be in the title. I'd have to go check. Press X to Lift podcast. That was originally my idea for the name of the podcast, but the reason why I ended up changing it to just Press X podcast, I know it's a little bit less interesting, a little bit more generic, but it was because I was always afraid that I'm going to confuse people with this name. Like, people are going to think maybe it's a fitness podcast or a health podcast. It's about weight training. And there are many podcasts that are dedicated to that type of stuff. So just to keep it like streamlined and make it clear that this is a video game podcast. But yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that, man. So thank you again. Thank you again, PlayStation Pete. Huge shout out to you. Shout out to everybody who's donating super chats. Really appreciate it. Let me see here. I know I skipped over a couple here, though. I want to make sure I don't miss any. Josh, just to close out, because I feel like I ended what I was saying a little bit too quickly. You're saying Press X to Lift sounds fire. Maybe I'll go back to that naming convention, man. Who knows? Maybe PlayStation Pete has inspired me once again. But yeah, dude. Sony's PlayStation studios are growing. Like, they're growing rapidly, man. I know, like, people are like, yo, how come Sony isn't trying to buy Square Enix? And how come Sony isn't trying to buy, like, more and more developers and more publishers? Dude, it's because Sony is focused on buying talent. That's what they're doing. And the acquisition of talent, the bringing on of talent, the purchasing of talent isn't usually as exciting or thrilling as, announcing we bought this studio or announcing we bought, this publisher. It's a little bit more subtle, but it usually yields the best results. And Housemarque is a great example of that. Blue Point, Haven. These were purchases, but they're not on some massive, huge level. And Merry Christmas, William. Merry Christmas. Oh my God, you guys are killing me here. In a good way. In a good way. I don't mean that in a bad way, but wow. Wow, another huge donation from Michael Wozniak. Thank you, man. That is wow. You guys are really not saying I'm going to shed a tear. Don't want to take it that far. We don't cry on Press X podcast. If I had to, I would. But thank you, Michael. Seriously, man. Thank you. Wow. I'm just so I'm like I'm flabbergasted. I am. I really am. You real men cry. That's true. I know. I'm just joking, man. I'm just joking. But that is wow. Yeah. Thank you. Because, dude, right here we have PlayStation Pete and Michael Wozniak. Because of you guys, I'm gonna go get that DualSense Edge. I'm gonna go get that. I'm just kidding. I don't think I'll be able to get it that quick. Is it even up for pre-order anymore? I need to know, because like I didn't even check. Is this a product that's selling out? But in all seriousness, man, thank you so much for the $100 super chat, dude. That is incredibly kind of you. And again, what makes it just even crazier is I know that it's tough times for almost everybody out there. I mean, everybody's feeling the impact, what's going on with the economy, and so thank you, man. But to read your super chat, you're saying, I second that, PlayStation Pete. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So thank you. Yeah, dude, that's incredible. You know, it's without getting like too deep here, but it's certainly worth saying, especially at this time of the year, end of the year. You know, I do put like there are things I know that I can improve on the channel, but YouTube is something that I never really, and I know this sounds cliche. I feel like every content creator says this, but it is true. Where, you know, I can still remember clear as day. I think at this point it's like 5 years ago, where I started my YouTube channel and I had dreams and ambitions of like, I really want this thing to, you know, hopefully grow and see where it can go. And I was always passionate about video games. And, you know, it was just always crazy to think back to, okay, now are you guys trying to one up each other at this point? Bro, at this point, people are just trying to see if they can make MVG cry here. That's what they're doing. All right, well, you know what? Fearless Cheshire Cat. Oh my God. Wow. That's really kind of you guys. That Waved Max. All right. Fearless Cheshire Cat. You're saying, Happy Christmas. I would love to see you use your journalistic / media talents to find out when I'm going to get a new trailer for Rebirth. Well, you know what, man? You know me, Fearless Cheshire Cat. I'm not an insider. And I know that there are a couple of super chats that don't worry, I'm going to get to all the super chats. Do not worry. I hope you guys understand that I'm a little taken aback in a good way here. I'm just, wow. Okay. Oh man, dude, what are you doing, man? Michael Wozniak. Oh my. Okay, guys. No, dude. Fearless Cheshire. This is crazy, dude. What the fuck is going on? No, dude. Yo, guys, holy, I gotta tell you something. Mercenary, dude, look. I'm gonna read these super chats. But I gotta tell you guys something. And I'm gonna tell you now. I'm gonna tell you this now because I was really thinking about whether or not I wanted to address this and talk about this because it's a personal matter. All right. And I'm not going to go too deep into it. It is a personal matter. But, you know, I don't want to bring that stuff too often to the channel. And I certainly don't want to do it to make it seem like, you know, maybe it's a bad thing. Because maybe it means I'm a little bit too prideful. But you guys are showing like a level of support that is unfathomable. So it's not recent. It's been going on for many years. My wife, without getting into too much detail, she has a disease. It's a relatively rare disease, but it's something that has been impacting our lives and mostly hers in a pretty profound way. And it's a progressive one too. All right. And it's really the past couple years, but specifically the past year, it has gotten worse. And we're coming up early next year. We're coming up on a really important moment for her. She's going to be getting major surgery, and it's very nerve wracking. And again, you know me, I don't normally get personal with stuff like this, and it's a big thing. It's a big thing, and I do my best here on my channel, and I try to do everything I can. And so I guess before it gets too much, because I'm really bad with this type of stuff. I'm sure you can see how I'm uncomfortable, but what I will say is that I didn't know what to expect doing this podcast tonight. And frankly, a lot of times I don't know what to expect each month, each week on YouTube, because especially with everything that's going on in the world now, things are crazy. So, to just kind of have you guys come out tonight and show this type of support, I really don't think I could properly express the level of gratitude just by speaking. But make no mistake, it's there. It's there. I'm incredibly humbled. I'm honored to be able to do this for you guys. And it's incredible. It's incredible. I love you guys. Simply put, I love you guys. Like it's not because of the money or the donations. It's what they represent. And to just see that there are people who, just the fact that people come to watch anything that I create is is Fearless Cheshire Cat says he wants to see me cry. Dude, here's the thing. I am not a crier, bro. Like I see actors and how they make themselves cry, and I'm like, how do you do that? I could never do it. Like, so I say he's lying. I can't promise that I will cry, but I am shook on the inside right now. Like I'm literally, I'm shaking a little bit because, I've been talking to my wife, and we've been going through this, and I'm just like, she always tells me, just do your best. Just do your best. And, that's what I try to do. That's what I try to do. And, I just, it's so meaningful and impactful to have a community that that supports me in such a profound way. And I feel like that's the best way I could describe it. To have a community that's willing to be here, watch the content, leave comments, share the videos, leave the likes, and then those who are willing, when they're able to and feel so inclined, to donate super chats, and then to see you guys just kind of go this far. I mean, holy shit. Holy shit. Like, thank you. Thank you. Really, really, really. I've been going through my own personal struggles. Kratos99 says, cry, MBG, cry. I feel like I don't drink, but I swear if I even had just like one drink in me right now, I'd probably be sobbing. No, really, it's, dude. I've been going through my own struggles, as well. And believe me, it's not something that I saying get another hot chocolate, bro. It's not something that I like to talk about, I don't. I talk about it with my wife, We all have people in our lives that we're close to that we feel comfortable to confide in and to talk to. And, I guess you guys have kind of with these dude, where you, wow, wow, wow. Guys, look, you don't have to feel the need to keep doing this. It's if someone donates $100 more, MBG has to take a drink on stream. I got to start reading these super chats, guys. I got to start reading them. I'm falling. You got to spike that hot chocolate, son. Look, I'm starting to feel pressure because I'm not reading the super chats, and I'm going to. But I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna say this because the Michael, dude, what, guys, like what? The Christmas spirit has just the holiday spirit. It's overtaken. I can't even. Oh my God. All right, look. Michael Wozniak says, keep doing what? Gee, I don't know, man. I don't know. Listen. Oh my God, you guys are conjuring certain feelings here. Oh man, Sir Speaks a Lot. Sir Speaks a Lot is like, bro, I gotta get in on this shit. No. Dude. Sir Speaks a Lot says, what the hell? I don't know. I didn't know there was a stream. Are you guys serious? Didn't even bother to tell me crap. I ought to whoop all of you for hiding this from me. Wait till I get my shipment of monkey poop, because I'll just chuck it to all of you, even you, MBG, for good luck. Sir Speaks a Lot. I feel like this is your way of being sentimental. I do. Wow. All right. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to read through these super chats because I'm blown away right now. All right. I'm trying to find the words because I am taken aback. I am. I'm going to tell you guys, I think every person has their struggles. I think every human being goes through things. And the past couple years, I'd say maybe the past 2 years, I've gone through some things that, some emotions, I've entered certain places that I've never been before. And I've been through some shit in life, man. Like not, and I don't mean to say that in like like you don't know my pain and nothing like that. But I'm just saying, like, I've been through some shit that, has put me it's made me a certain way. It's put me in a certain place. And YouTube to me has always felt like a kind of haven, ironically enough, talking about Haven Studio. It has. And it's something that Fearless Cheshire Cat saying Happy Kwanzaa. I feel like, dude, at this point, I feel like you guys are trying to enter. You guys are like, oh, he's about to do it. Let's drop it. Dude, come on now, man. Man, I mean, where do you guys get this money, bro? That's crazy. That's so generous of you guys. Like, seriously, I don't even fucking know what to say at this point. Really, like, you don't. The thing that's crazy to me is you guys don't actually know. And that's what I need, I think, to express right now, is the level of gratitude to know that you guys don't. I'm not like a vlogger, you know. I don't make personal update videos. I don't come out here and, you know, share my life, really. And just to see you guys kind of, you know, come in clutch in a moment where that, like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. That this is some kind of sign, some kind of gesture from the universe. I don't know. I'm not like the most religious person by any means, but it's like I've been having so many conversations with my wife, you know, about certain areas in life where I feel like I'm struggling and I'm feeling down, and it's, you know, things can get difficult, and, you know, sometimes it warps my view of the world, and it puts me in a, you know, I like to think of myself as a stronger person, but it puts me in a place where I don't want to be. And I really, you know, the last thing my wife says to me before I even went live tonight, she's like, "Look, just have fun with it. Just have fun with it." And that's what I was like, you know, you're right. You're right. That's what this is about. That's why, you know, it's about having fun. It's about enjoying the company of you guys and talking about games, man. Talking about PlayStation. So, yeah, God is good, man. That's I just can't express to you guys like how fucking insane this is, because I needed this. I did. Like, not, again, it's not just the money or the donations. I mean, that's huge. Like, I'm not going to downplay that. Anybody donating anything, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And to see this, I don't even know what to call this. But what I do know is that it proves to me that there's something special here. That there's a level of camaraderie. Mepsic coming in, bro. Mepsic coming in. I promise I'm going to get these super chats. I'm going to read them. There's a level of camaraderie. There's a level of support that sometimes I don't feel that I even maybe deserve. I've been humbled in life at this point, and I'm still learning, man. Like, I'm still getting there. We're all walking our own paths, and I'm still walking mine. And this is a moment. This is a moment. And, you know, I had a stream similar to this, but in a completely, and this is the thing, completely different context. I think the last time I had a stream similar to this, where I was just like, I can't even believe what's going on right now, it was like in the middle of the PlayStation 5 hype, when this console was getting ready to come out. And I think I was like streaming the event or something like that, and people were just on another level. But this is different. Not to say that meant that means any less. It doesn't. But this is different, because this, to me, this feels more personal. This feels more like you guys are just, yeah. Does this mean I should stream every Friday? Michael, dude, thank you, man. Like, Michael says, okay, last one. You provided so much content. God has blessed me to bless you. That is incredible, man. Dude, I'm seriously sitting here thinking, like, am I dreaming right now? Like, am I gonna wake up? Because this is amen to that, man. Amen to that. Wow. Oh my God. Oh my God. William. bro, dude. I am at a loss of words right now, dude. I hate dead air. I hate dead air. As somebody who streams every week, I hate dead air. But I need a moment. I need just a moment. Wow. I've been so worried. I mean, really, I've been so worried about being able to uh you know, be the provider for my family, for my son. And I I I I I guys, you don't have to do anymore. I see somebody saying I'm not crying. Dude, trust me. Trust me. There are my tear ducts are functioning. They are functioning, and I told you I am not I, I see you guys in the chat saying I deserve this. You know what? Look, I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a human being. And God, I there it's hard to get the words out properly right now because I am just in a little bit of shock. But look, I don't even, dude, I don't, I'm sitting here thinking like, how am I supposed to, go back to a normal podcast here? Look, um, I'm gonna pull a Christopher Judge here and do a like a 20-minute long. Is this how Christopher Judge felt that night, dude? Where he's trying so hard to just say what he's got to say, but he's like, it's the feelings are so powerful. They're overcoming, man. They're over, like, okay, look. I have been battling, saying he was drunk. Yeah, I'm not drunk. What does that mean? I've been battling my own demons and going through different things week by week, month by month. Everybody does. Everybody has their demons. Everybody has their battles. And I'm really going to confide into you guys right now. All right. Because I feel like at this point, you deserve it. Like, you guys are saying, I deserve this. Well, look, I have to express this to you because I normally don't make things personal, but to me, this is personal now. Because you guys are the reason, like, why, like, you've taken a burden and lifted a burden off of my shoulders that was weighing heavy. And I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, look, I got great donations from very generous people. All of my problems in life are solved. Everybody knows it's not that simple. But believe me when I tell you that this is fucking huge. This is like, this is, I think, like, some of the kindest These have to be the kindest gestures that I've ever received in life. And look, something I've been struggling with for the past 2 years in particular, and it was something I never struggled with before. And I'm not trying to turn this dark. I'm not. But I need to say this so you guys understand, like, really how much this means to me. I've always lived my life feeling a great sense of purpose and drive, and it was always there. There was never any question about it. I've never hit some kind of wall, and I think because of that, a part of me was maybe a little bit arrogant at times. Not purposely, but just sometimes that's what happens, right? Sometimes you just don't know any better. And the past 2 years have humbled me in a big way, where I've spent a lot of time feeling like I'm searching for some kind of meaning, a deeper meaning, something that goes beyond what I've known. And it's a struggle that I think, again, I think maybe most people go through at some point in their life. And until you go through it, you just kind of think, I'll never deal with those types of problems. And so to just kind of do this stream tonight and to see a community come out that has supported me and what I do every day. Because I won't lie, there are times where I think, man, I get tired. I get tired and I start to wonder and question, like, should I do this? Should I do that? But I always think to myself, just keep it grinding, man. Like, keep going, because you know what? It's the difference maker in the end is when the going gets tough, there are those that keep going and keep pushing, and there are those that don't. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with those that don't. There's nothing wrong with those that don't. Everybody's got to walk their own path, like I said, but tonight validates everything. Tonight makes me realize that I do have people in my corner. I mean, I have my family, of course, but I just felt a sense of, a true sense of compassion here, really. And I'm really, truly humbled and honored. I'm honored to say that you guys are my audience. I'm honored to say that you guys are my channel. Without you guys, my channel would be nothing. It would be nothing. It wouldn't be something that I could do. It wouldn't be something that I could look forward to doing. And I know that I have some hot takes sometimes. I know that I have some takes that, I get worked up sometimes, I have some meltdowns, I guess. And I think that's all part of it, and it's so crazy to think that as the years go by doing this YouTube channel, all of this it's all archived, I'll be able to go back. You'll be able to go back and see where it started, where it went, and how it got to wherever it goes. And this is certainly one of those moments that I don't think I'll ever forget. Really. I don't know that this is fully registered yet. And I'm going to start to read these super chats. I got to get a little bit, I got to collect myself here and get this organized. And I will apologize. I will apologize. I did see, because, dude, some of you guys donating large, like very large amounts of money, saying, you know, hoping I cry. Please do not mistake the lack of tears for lack of emotion. Please don't. This is an area in my life that I've struggled with as well. I'm not the most emotional person, and there are very deep rooted reasons for that I'm still working on, and it'll probably be a lifelong journey. No, Matt York. I don't need a crisp 1,000 to cry. No, it's not about that. You know, just don't perceive it that way, because believe me when I tell you, this is incredibly meaningful, and it goes a lot deeper. You're saying you can pretend to cry for us on it. I mean, I could. God damn, you guys do it out here. I feel like that's it's not real. That's not like what I'm saying to you right now. For me is as real as it gets, because this is you're basically seeing a side of me right now that I go out of my way to not share. Truly. And I feel like this is necessary, because you guys are, I just need to let you guys know what it means to me and what you mean to me, and what this stream means to me. Really, it's what it represents. That's the most important thing I want to say before reading the super chats. It's what you guys just did here, what you're still doing now. Like, it's what it represents. That's not something that can be quantified. You're doing, I mean, of course we look at numbers and we look at, we read the words, but gestures like this cannot be quantified. And that's what I want to say to you guys, is this goes beyond that. This goes beyond a number. This goes beyond, it's not about who's donating the most or who can, it's what it represents. So thank you. Really, thank you. I could not have asked for something like this, and I'm not necessarily sure that I even deserve this. My cats are crying for me. All right, I'm gonna start reading through these super chats, because that's the least I could do. That's the least I could do. So I'm going to go in reverse order here, because frankly, that would just be the easiest way to do it. Lancelot C, you're saying MBG, this is way out left field, but I feel when Avowed comes out, that will be a game you will probably enjoy. It looks intriguing. Also, you're an awesome person and very down to earth. Keep it up. Well, thank you for that, man. I'll be truthful right now. My mind is not so much on Avowed, but I'm looking forward to seeing that trailer, man, that gameplay. Let's see what they can do. Let's see what they can do, man. Thank you for that, Lancelot. Jan Watkins, thank you for becoming a member, man. Welcome to Greatness Awaits. Thank you for your support. Mr. Bills, you're saying, thanks for making this channel. No problem. Dude, you're welcome, man. You don't have to thank me for that. I created this channel because, you know, I wanted to do something on YouTube, and I had a passion, and I figured, you know what? I figured we can, maybe I can make something happen. And you guys helped me make it happen. Damon Andrews, member for 3 months. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Thank you for the support. I'm sorry if I say, I don't mean to seem so somber. I just, again, it's still, It's still resonating, still processing. Mark Lovin, you're saying Merry Christmas, MBG. Hope all is well. Well, dude, you don't need to hope at this point. This is huge for me and my family. Like, really, this is a difference maker. Really, thank you. Snuffy, Pashkal, saying get the wife to get her reaction. I wouldn't want to put her on the spot like that. Maybe. It's tough. Like I've thought about bringing my wife on the channel, maybe, but I'm certainly not going to now because I don't think I'm not going to put her on the spot like that and be like, hey, just come on camera, like it would be, but maybe we could do something, maybe we could do something because you guys are, at this point, you guys are like clearly family, like, like this is crazy. Like the level of care here is, wow. The Caped Crusader, member 21 months. You're saying, what the F is going on with these donations? Just joined. Didn't know there was a stream today. Dude, what's going on with the donations? Some very, 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 very generous channel members, the Caped Crusader. That's what's going on. Very generous viewers of the channel that are sending me a message. That's what's happening. Very powerful message here. And Morlamba, you're saying you deserve it, man. Everyone is paying for the entertainment you provide us. Don't let anyone tell you you don't deserve it. Merry Christmas. May God bless you. Thank you so much for that, man. I don't want to take credit. I don't want to, for me right now, what feels right is to not take the credit because, I know that I run the channel and I create the content, but I do that out of passion. I do that just because I enjoy it. And right now, there's something else that deserves the credit. I think it's you guys, really. I think it's you guys, and I think it's right now. I think the credit goes to anybody, whether it's on this channel or beyond, that has supported me. Life is fucking hard, and humans are very complicated, and we all have certain burdens. And right now, you guys have pulled through for me in a way that I would have never expected, ever, to help lift one of those burdens off of my shoulders. So you guys deserve the credit. Dan Becker, you're saying, bro, you can buy so many years of Game Pass now, LOL. Of course. All these donations, guys. Thank you. You got me set for Game Pass for life. Clearly. Oh, that's funny, though. That is funny. I needed that. Dale, you're saying depression is a pandemic. MBG is our happy place. Yeah, you know what's crazy, man? Is speaking of the pandemic, most of the biggest leap in channel growth that I experienced was during that time. And I gotta admit, like, it all kind of happened so fast. I didn't really think about that, I didn't really think about, not to say this in a selfish way, but it's just like I was like, things were going so quickly. I didn't actually think about how like other people were, looking for something, anything, at that time. And it kind of like registered to me, like once it started to kind of end, I'm like, damn, like it was awesome it's awesome to think that I was able to provide that to some extent, to help anybody, really. And that's that. I got to tell you, like that is the most gratifying thing, the most satisfying part of this is that there are times where sometimes I worry about, am I going to have enough to talk about on the podcast? Or, what if I'm just not feeling it this week? Or what if the energy isn't there? Or what if I disappoint anybody? And then to just kind of like, I'm in my own head in that way. And to see somebody come out, whether it's in a comment or, because, I do read a lot, believe me. Don't get me wrong, get my fair share of nasty comments too, but it's the nature of the game that we have here. But to see somebody, they'll talk about how like they're working or they got like a rough schedule. They're just going through something in life, just something they're going through. And they basically say like, man, this podcast you do each week, it helps me. It helps. And that's crazy to me. That's crazy because it's so easy to kind of get away from that understanding, because from my perspective, I'm just like, bro, let's talk about Microsoft and PlayStation and Game Pass and PlayStation exclusives and just the whole thing here each week. But to have people come out and be like, dude, it means something. It's like, wow, like that's very humbling and very satisfying. Jerome also says, go get your wife. I need a reaction right now. Dude, don't get me wrong. I'm sure I have to imagine she's watching this right now. Oh my God. Could you imagine, could you imagine if she wasn't watching this? I think I saw her in the chat, so I'm pretty sure she's here. But could you just imagine for a second if she wasn't? Like, hey, honey. Yeah, she just yelled from me from the other room. She said she's watching. She's watching. So believe me, if there's anybody here that's also just as profoundly grateful, it's my wife. Trust me. It's been it's been a ride, man. It has. Crooked Vulture, thank you for the 10, my friend. Snuffy, you're saying amen. And William, dude. William with a $500 donation. Thank you. I mean, really, like, between, I mean, you guys, it is the least I could do. I feel bad because it's like I don't want to make it sound like I'm giving anybody special treatment, but it's like, guys, I'm sure everybody's understanding. Fearless Cheshire Cat, Michael Wozniak, Mepsic, William Aguilar, like, you guys have donated an incredible amount of money. Sir speaks a lot. Like I'm like losing track. Biggest possible shout out I could give to you guys. Like, really, I'm blown away by your generosity. I'm legitimately blown away by your generosity. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it. So William, to read your super chat, you're saying much love to Mrs. MBG. I wish your family the best. No matter what happens, I hope this helps. Next year will be an amazing year for video games. People are not ready. 2015 and 2016 E3s were considered the greatest PlayStation showcases of all time, and 2023 is on track to surpass them. The best is yet to come in terms of PlayStation gamers. Thank you so much for that, man. I'm sure my wife is watching. She's getting all of your well wishes. And what you're saying here, funny enough, talking about PlayStation, William, I feel like me and you share the exact same energy in this instance, because I find that the things you're saying are almost the exact same things that I have said and continue to think. I'll be honest, I think I say it a little bit less now because I'm trying. I feel like I've upset some people where it's like you talk about PlayStation showcases, and I feel like this year it was like next month the PlayStation showcase, the month after that it's going to happen, and I think people were kind of looking to me, were like, bro, it ain't happening, and I'm like, oh man, I guess it's not this year. But you know what? I think you're correct, William. I'll be totally honest. What you just said about going into next year, I feel the exact same way. And I mean that. Like, dude, I have to pull myself back a little bit because you guys know how I can become as the hype man. I tend to get ahead of myself, and I don't want to do that. But believe me, this channel is based around PlayStation. And most of the people, I would say, if not every person who's made the decision to subscribe to my channel, is probably passionate to some degree about PlayStation. And yes, it's a video game brand, but again, it's what it represents. It's what it does for people. It's how it impacts people's lives. And so that's that where you just said the best is yet to come. I think that perfectly encapsulates it. I do. And that's not like a console war thing. You know, this isn't about like, oh, dude, PlayStation's going to stomp Xbox. Nothing like that. This is just purely about people who are buying PS5s, investing in them, who care about PlayStation games, play online with their friends, whatever it might be. You're right, man. You're completely right. And you're getting me excited. I feel like dude, I'm usually the hype man. But William, in this case, you're kind of the hype man right now. And it feels good. I gotta admit, it feels good for once to be the guy that's like, yeah, I'm listening, bro. I'm listening because E3 2015 and 2016, oh man, could you imagine? Could you imagine Sony putting on a show that tops that? Oh my God. It's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine, man. But I'm with you, William. I'm excited, dude. I'm excited for all of us to go into 2023, new year, new content, new games, new announcements. I'm excited. And William, you say, yeah, man, there's so many first-party games in development that have yet to be announced and tons of second and third-party unannounced. So, yeah, dude, yeah, I catch you on Twitter. Everybody, William, if you want to put your Twitter handle, like, dude, I feel like, because I know you're trying to, William, I see you're trying to build a following on Twitter, man, and I come across your stuff sometimes. So if you want to put your Twitter handle in the chat, I'll pin it. You know, go follow William on Twitter, guys, if you have a Twitter, because the dude knows what he's talking about. Really. And I'm not just saying that because he did a large donation, but trust me, he shows up to the channel each week and he creates these infographics, and they're impressive. They're impressive. So, William, plug your Twitter, man, and I'll pin that. You know, if you want to put it in a comment after the stream's up, I'll pin that, because it's the least I could do for you, man. I see the work you put into those infographics. But again, before I move on, William, really, dude, that's an absurdly generous donation, and words at this point can't even express the level of gratitude for doing something like that for me and my family, man. Really, huge. Thank you so much. Thank you, William. And Michael Wozniak saying, okay, last one. Donating hundreds of dollars, saying, okay, last one, you provided so much content. God has blessed me to bless you. I know I read that earlier, but that's worth reading again. Michael Wozniak, dude. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Like, I feel, I don't want to, I feel a little bit bad only because I feel like this podcast has turned into just basically me just thank you. But it's necessary. It is. Like, I'm sure anybody listening to this understands that if you were in my shoes, you'd want to express just the most profound gratitude at these gestures. Nam Quinn, thank you for becoming a member, man. Welcome to Greatness Awaits. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the 5. And Morlamba, I think I'm saying your name correctly. And Mepsic with a $50 donation as well, saying, we love you, bro. We love your content, and we're here for you even though you don't really know us. We see ourselves through your content and your dedication. Thank you so much for that, man. It means a lot. It means a lot. It really does. And that's the thing, is like it is awesome to think that you got, like, there's something here that you guys are identifying with. And I sometimes don't know. I'm going to be honest. A lot of times I don't know that. I mean, I know it in the basic sense of like, oh, I put out a video and, you know, people are watching it and they're leaving comments and they're interacting, and I do a live stream and I see people in the chat and I get some super chats. But like tonight, it's taken to a level that I didn't think was there. Really, I didn't think it was there, and it's like, wow, it's eye opening. It is. It's eye opening, and it's insanely motivating too. Really, it is. It's very motivating, and I needed that. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mepsic. Thank you for that. Also, love the Solid Snake picture, man. Love it. Can we get that? Can we please get that Metal Gear remake? That's what we need next, man. Metal Gear remake. You know that thing's cooking. You know it's cooking. When's Sony gonna announce it? Or Konami, I should say. Konami. Yeah, that's why you have it. Yeah. Yes, I mean, dude, I got Old Snake right here. Remake. William, you're saying Metal Gear 6 is Solid 6 is in development? Oh man, that sounds a little bit scary though. But sure. I mean, dude, he's moved on. I'd be willing to see what does MGS 6 look like, for better or for worse. Because we can always get the remakes, you know. Hopefully Konami doesn't destroy it though. I feel like they already did. Let's be honest. I feel like Konami already went through that phase of destroying Metal Gear when they made Metal Gear Survive, right? So we're past that now. Maybe they can do something good. Kratos99 saying, Lord Kratos is blessing you, MVG. Yeah, yeah, dude. It's the place. Dude. The PlayStation community is a passionate bunch, and there, you know, the PlayStation community. The PlayStation community, I think, is really passionate. You know, that's one of the things that drew me to PlayStation is, so many PlayStation fans back in late 2018 were like, MBG, bro, you need to play these games. And it got so intense that I was like, there has to be something to it. Like they won't, like, honest, I was like, they won't shut up about it. Like they keep telling me, dude, you gotta get a fucking PS4 and play these games. And people always say, they're like, dude, you just switched to PlayStation for views. And I'm like, I don't think people understand. Like, my channel it wasn't there. Like, I had a very, 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 very small channel. And I'd been covering Xbox content. And I just figured, you know what, man? I'm asking for better games. I'm not getting them. I got a whole community of people here that are like, dude, we got the games over here, man. Go try it. And as soon as I didn't know that I was going to gain a bigger following, I mean, I assumed that, oh, maybe they'll be interested to hear what I have to say about it. But dude, like, I made a video, my first video, and this was crazy to me. Like, I think this just proves the passion. Where my first video was when I played The Last of Us. And dude, I played that game and I just was like, I'm just going to make like a 10 to 12 minute video just basically saying what I think of it. And I think I titled it like, how did I go this long not playing this game? And I was so eager to like talk about it that I didn't even, I didn't think about it. There was no script. I was just talking. And dude, over like 100,000 people watched it. And I was like, oh my God, like I felt nervous because I'm like, I didn't think that many people were going to hear what I hope these guys realize like, I'm coming from Xbox, but it made me realize that, dude, it was a really cool moment. It was a turning point because I got exactly what I wanted in that moment. And what I wanted was not, it was not maybe what some people think. It was as simple as I just wanted some great games to play, man, and talk about. Like that's what I wanted. And that's what I got. And then I saw like, oh my God, like, dude, I'm getting an incredible response on my channel. Well, what should I play next? And then they're like, dude, you gotta play God of War. You gotta play God of War, man. So thank you for that, Kratos99. We have Rodney Coots saying, Merry Christmas, MBG. I feel you with being through a lot in life and being able to overcome. Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody who's going through it. You know, everybody's going through the struggle. Everybody who's persevering. It's hard. It's hard, man. Dude, life has a way of beating you down. Really, it does. And it can be overwhelming. And sometimes people do fall, man. People do fall, but it's all about that perseverance. It's all about, always understanding, how it goes. I know it's cliche, but they say it's darkest before the dawn, always gets worse before it gets better. And I think that's true. And, it's a shout out to everybody who overcomes, man. Thank you for that, Rodney. Fearless Cheshire Cat with just saying Happy Kwanzaa. Yeah, dude. Happy Kwanzaa. I see some new super chats coming as well. I will get to those. I have to finish going. I'm going in reverse order right now because I missed so many. So I'm gonna get through these and then I'm gonna get to the ones that came after that. So no worries there. Mepsic, a member for 28 months, you're saying Merry Christmas, MBG. Keep pushing through, brother. Will do, man. Will do. Merry Christmas to you as well. Mr. Bills becoming a member. Greatness awaits. Thank you, my friend. Really appreciate that. I see somebody asking in the chat really quick. Did I see that every company thought that Kojima with this new game he wanted to make was insane? And the only company that said yes to it was Microsoft. I actually will talk about that because I find that pretty funny. That was something I did want to discuss. So we'll get to that. Kratos99 again, you're saying time to get drunk, MBG. Take that drink. So, all right. Well, hell, I mean that the podcast already got really personal, right? So I'll go even further. And I am going to apologize in advance to the people who are going to click on this stream, not aware of what they're about to watch. Like this podcast started as a totally normal podcast and has turned into something completely different right now. So let me know in the comments what you think of that. So I don't drink alcohol at all. And I actually have a very good reason for that. My father had a severe addiction to alcohol. Like now the Caped Crusader is getting involved. Wow, man. I'm gonna get to your super chat. Geez, you guys are wow. You guys just don't stop. I'm gonna get to that, Caped Crusader. I'll get to you, man. Dude, this is turning into a roller coaster. Seriously. Wow. Wow. My father was severely addicted to alcohol. And it wasn't good. Without being I'm not opening those doors right now. Because I think that's getting a little too heavy, but it's just because I'm not like weirdly against it where it's like I judge people who drink. Nothing like that. Nothing at all. Nothing like that. But I don't drink. I don't drink. I don't smoke. The only thing I've ever really done is every now and again is I smoke a cigar. That's it. Other than that, I'm good. I'm good. So I just figured I would mention that because I saw, like, even before the podcast started, a lot of people were like, dude, MVG's, he's doing an evening stream, on the holidays. He's probably going to be like, drinking and getting messed up. But nah, I'm cool on that, man. Green Owl, you're saying we got you, bro. Sir speaks a lot, dude. I mean, I'm reading this in my head real quick a second time. Sir Speaks a Lot was completely out of the loop. Didn't realize we were having a podcast tonight, and I guess just joined and saw what was going on and hopped on the train, man. Same thing with Caped Crusader. Caped Crusader, just hang in there. I feel so bad. I hate. There's nothing more anxiety inducing than when I get a super chat and I have to wait. Like I'm making my way through. I hate making people wait, but please just trust me. I'm going to read your super chats. I just don't like it when people might start to think that I'm ignoring them or something. I promise you I'm not. I promise you. And Michael's saying, keep doing what? You need to have context for that one if you want to come back and watch. Dan Becker says, I'm poor, but thanks for doing the show each week. Dude, and that's the thing, man. That's the thing is, like, people who are struggling financially, even to just donate $2, like, dude, you don't have to do that, man. Like, nobody has to donate anything. You guys don't have to do anything. So that, again, that gesture, that the fact you're willing to do that, even though you might be struggling right now, that means everything, dude. That means everything. Thank you so much for that. Again, it's all this stuff that makes me feel so motivated to, like, I want to keep doing the best I can here for you guys on the channel. Really. Josh, you're saying, I better see your Xbox slander on Christmas Day. Yeah, you're hoping Act Man catches me again. Dude, I couldn't believe that shit. The Act Man is he's a big YouTube. He's so much bigger than me on YouTube. And I was like, oh my God. For those who don't know, last Christmas, I thought I still think it was funny. I don't care what it was. It's shit's funny. Like, it wasn't meant to be taken seriously, but I understand why it's like, it's easy to get clowned on. I put out a tweet and I think I said something like, imagine hoping to get a PS5 for Christmas, but waking up to a Series S. And it was just a joke, it was just a joke. But Act Man, not too long after that, made a video like going over like console war people on the internet, and I saw my tweet was there, and he was like, bro, can you just give it a rest? It's Christmas Day. And I'm like, okay, I had that one coming. I had that, and I was cracking up, man. I was cracking up. That shit was funny, dude. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna keep it clean Christmas Day because of that, because I was like, I don't know. You're saying, wasn't he just tweeting about how he can see why God of War Ragnarok should be Game of the Year? I guess so. I feel like the Game of the Year talk, I feel like gets, I don't know. Does it really matter? I feel like it matters in a moment. Like, leading up to the Game Awards, it matters. And then it's like, okay, we all move on. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Everybody's got to come to their own conclusion. So Josh, sorry to disappoint, man, but I'm gonna keep it clean on Christmas Day. All right, don't worry. I'm very curious to see what PlayStation and Xbox do in 2023, because I'm positive there are going to be some just off the wall things that happen with both companies, for both good and bad ways. Fearless Cheshire Cat, you're saying you do it for the LOLs. Well, it's all good, man. I mean, look. Regardless of why you're doing it, it helps me a lot. Like, really, I mean, that's some serious. Those are some serious donations that you just did there, man. So, yeah, I mean, if you're getting something out of it, then that's all that matters. Kratos 99, you're saying if someone donates MBG has to take a drink on stream. Dude, Kratos99 be like, damn, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. It's all good. I'll take a drink, but I my hot chocolate's just basically chocolate milk now because it. You guys, thanks a lot, guys. I hope you're happy. Are you happy now? Was this the plan all along? Was this the plan all along? Be like, yo, MBG bringing hot chocolate to the stream. No, we're gonna mess that all up. We're gonna ruin that for you, MBG. I'm just kidding. Christopher Judge would be proud. Oh, that's weird though. You know what? Why does that taste so weird now? It's like chunky now. I don't know why. Whatever. It's still good. Just a little it's a little off-putting there. Kyle San saying MBG doesn't watch anime, so he hasn't learned how to cry. I've owed you a little something for all the hours you've put in. Thank you, Kyle. And by the way, Kyle, you know what? So I saw you posted a message. Yeah, it's probably the marshmallows. That's why it's chunky. But you posted a message in my community post yesterday, and you had asked if I saw. It was so random. It was funny because, like, I kid you not, when I went to read your message, I had literally just finished watching the trailer for that 90s show. I'm a big fan of that 70s show. Love that show. One of my favorite shows. One of my dad's favorite shows. We just always enjoyed it. And I was a little bit nervous with the 90s show. I'm like, is it going to be good? And I watched the trailer for it. I'm like, it looks like it has potential. Looks like it has potential. So I watched it, and then I went to go just check on my post asking people to give me questions for the podcast. And you had randomly said, like, hey, did you know they're making that 90s show? And I'm like, this is so weird. Like, I did not expect to read that in that moment. So, damn. I'm going to watch it, though. I mean, I'm subscribed to Netflix, so I'll check it out. So thank you for that, Kyle. Fearless Cheshire Cat saying you got to spike that hot chocolate, son. Trip Row, thank you for the $2, man. Again, I apologize if I'm late to some of these. Kratos99, bro. Sorry, man. I missed your... I didn't even realize. I missed your $50 super chat saying, cry, MBG, cry. Man, you guys, I feel like I may have let some people down here. People were hoping to see the waterworks. I don't know, man. Dude, I don't know. I think there's something wrong with me. At some point, when does it become like, dude, why can't you cry? Apparently, it's because I didn't watch anime. Okay, well, you know what? According to a lot of people online, I cry every podcast. So I don't know, guys. What is it? Am I not crying enough, or am I crying constantly? You guys know what I mean. Fearless Cheshire Cat saying you want to see me cry. Ola Tawos, you're saying thanks for your videos on PS4 games you loved. No problem, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for that, man. Is that thumbnail legit? Great name, dude. Saying longtime fan. I don't have $100. Proud of you, man, dude. No worries, man. No worries. Just the fact that you donated anything at all is more than enough. So thank you. Thank you. Is that thumbnail legit? Great name. Mercenary Teo, you're saying MBG, keep doing your thing. Excuse me. Merry Christmas, PlayStation for life. I hear you, Mercenary. I'll keep going, man. I'll keep doing my thing. At this, I mean, dude, with support like this, you guys make it happen. Jerome, you're saying go order the DualSense now on stream. LOL. I want to see it. Well, that's the thing, man. Is it's like it's not, I don't want to say the DualSense Edge is like a money thing. It's more like Sony's bringing out live service games, multiplayer games, okay, over the next year or so. I gotta wait until I'm getting into that groove. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be hard for me to justify the extra bells and whistles. Because I have a feeling what I would end up doing is I would buy the DualSense Edge and just not use hardly any of the features and just be like, well, it's basically just a regular DualSense, you know? But I'm when we get to the live service games, when we get to the multiplayer competitive games, I got to stop calling them live service. People hate that. I'm just going to start calling them multiplayer games because I feel like live service has such a negative, you know, it just automatically makes people think negative. Fearless Cheshire Cat says, I want to see you cry. Michael Wozniak says, let's go. Waved Max. Thank you, man. And I think I'm all caught up here. So let me go back down and catch up some more. Let me see. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss any. The Caped Crusader. Dude, I don't know if I read yours yet. I saw you put one, a member super chat where you said, what the F is going on with these donations? Just joined. I think I may have read that. Here we go. All right, now I'm where I need to be. The Caped Crusader says, MBG, you at least owe us your real name, first name. I've been following you for years, watched hundreds of your vids, still don't know your name. LOL. Actually, I don't mind sharing my first name. I mean, I feel like I'm not, that's the thing is like, I don't want to be weirdly private. Hold on. Space Gambler Jr. says he knows my real name. What's my real name? You know what? I'm curious. Dude, there's going to be a game. Hold on. I'm going to tell you my first name. And there's going to be a game that if you played this game, you know what moment I'm talking about, because this is that moment. This is that moment in that game. This is exactly that moment. And you're gonna think I'm bullshitting you, but I'm not. Okay? My first name is John. That's my first name. Damn it. I missed it. I should have said Jim. No, my first name. No. Hanzo, I know it sounds crazy, but my my real name is not MBG. Okay, so what game though? So there we go, the Caped Crusader. You got it, bro. You got it. You were expecting Snake. Dude, I was so blown away in there was a scene in Metal Gear Solid 3. Spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 3. At the very end, when Big Boss, or Naked Snake, was fighting Ocelot, and Ocelot was like, no more, we're men with names. And Big Boss revealed his name was John. Right? Or was... I know they called him Jack, though. Oh, don't tell me I'm misremembering. No. My real name is Hassan. Just to be clear, too, my name is not Jonathan. A lot of people have called me. Please tell me I'm remembering that correctly, though, right? Do I go by John? Yeah, it's just John. John. Yeah, I've been called Johnny by a lot of people. And no, this is not one of those things where it's like, oh, he's saying John, like for John Doe. No, my real first name is John. But yeah, so hold on, please. I know that's what he says, right? He did say John. Yeah. See, it's confusing because he's referred to as Jack in the game, but I guess his real name is just John because at the end, do I have uncontrolled diarrhea like Johnny? No. Luckily, I don't. But yeah, there you go. I figured, look, man, at this point, I feel like I'm withholding too much if I can't even give you my first name. I'm now, so I hope you guys are happy now. I'm just gonna rename my channel. Just gonna rename my channel to John Gaming. John Gaming. That's my. Now give us your social security number. Oh my god. No, we'll just start slow, guys. We'll start slow. Oh, Zanarkane Blitzer, you're saying I missed your Milestone super chat? Oh, did I? You know what? Let me double check, man. I apologize. Sorry, man. This is it's almost a little bit overwhelming to keep track. Zanarkane Blitzer. Zanarkane. Scrolling. I'm scrolling. You're not coming up, man. Not yet. I'm looking. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I may have missed a couple. Hold on. I guess I maybe did miss a couple because I have one here. Okay, sorry, guys. I did miss a couple. Jerome said Wolverine will look good, but Forbidden West is it. Michael Wozniak with a $2 super chat saying Westland MI has 2 PS5s in the Measure setting. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Solid Green said, hey, MBG, I want to let you know I'll be playing God of War Ragnarok for the first time on Christmas Day. Hope you and your family have a good Christmas. So thank you for that, Solid Green, and I hope you enjoy it, man. It's a great game. I'm glad I'm looking back because I clearly missed a couple. Jerome, you're saying you will need 2 dual senses. It will break your pocket, and it doesn't compare to the Xbox controller's 40 hours. Damn, Sony. And Zanarkane Blitzer, here we go. You said, you're right, my bad, dude. Member for 60 months, you're saying, Merry Christmas, MBG, and to your family. Did you all buy your Christmas presents yet? Is MBG Jr. looking forward to Christmas and his presents? Absolutely, man. Yeah, that's what we spent a lot of the day doing, wrapping up presents and getting everything in order. Obviously going to be busy the next couple days with family members. Chris B coming in, man. Coming in hot. But yeah, dude, Merry Christmas to you as well, man. And yeah, MBG Jr. So I got him I got to be careful how, I don't know if my wife's still listening or if he's asleep or not. Either way, we got him a little drum kit. I'm excited to put that together because I'm a drummer. You know, I play drums, and it's something I really enjoy doing. I just play I just naturally know how to play the drums. I've always enjoyed it, so I'm curious to see if he's if he's gonna take after me in that way. But yeah, he's doing well. So yeah, sorry I missed. I'm glad you let me know to go back to Narcan because it wasn't just your super chat I missed. I missed a couple. Big Turbo, you're saying I missed your super chat. Okay, so don't worry, Big Turbo. Actually, your super chat's lower down. It's towards the bottom. So I'm not there are still quite a few, or at least a few that I'm getting through here. So no worries. I'm going to get to it in just a moment. Yeah, excuse me, Space Gambler Jr. It wasn't me. I mean, Santa gave me the drum kit. I just, yeah, I don't want to take all the credit, Sometimes I like to do that. But yeah, Santa got him the drum kit. So thank you for the super chat, Zbog. VIP3, you're saying, MBG, we aren't ready for Spider-Man 2 visuals. I agree. I'm telling you, everybody keeps wondering, like, how come Insomniac hasn't shown more Spider-Man 2? Dude, I'm telling you, I think it's because I think they want to make sure that when they show the game for the first time, it's going to melt. I always use that, exaggeration, but I think they're gonna melt faces. Saying MVG, we need that head/hair reveal, dude. I'm telling you guys, it's not as exciting. It's not going to be as exciting as you think. Like under my Santa hat right now, it's a shaved head, man. I mean, I guess maybe you guys can like really observe my head shape, and really get a feel for that. But it's really not that big of a deal. I don't even, at this point, it's really, I just wear a hat because I'm just used to it. Saying egghead, I don't know, man. You know what's weird is like my wife thinks I look really good with the shaved head. She loves me with the shaved head. My mother doesn't. My mother tells me all the time, like she's like, I think you got like an egghead, and I'm like, thanks, mom. But it's one of those things where it's like, well, I like it. It's easier, man. It's easier, but but yeah, it's not going to be as exciting as I think everybody thinks. Whenever it does happen. Tony Leong, you're saying, actually, your very first Sony video was Uncharted. Oh yeah, that's true. Which you didn't like. People accused you of being an Xbox troll. LOL. Merry Christmas to you and yours, MBG. That's a good point, Tony. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I played Uncharted 4, and I don't know. I didn't feel it as much as everybody else. And I'm going to be honest. I think that the realization just dawned on me that I don't know that Uncharted is really a game that I'm like, if you were to go, I think that video should still be there. If I recall correctly, I basically was saying how I really loved everything about the game, but the combat in particular, like the shooting mechanics and the combat, while it was versatile, and you could, it definitely gave you like you jumping around like a maniac going crazy, but I guess I was hoping for like a more refined combat. But then people were saying like, dude, like it's kind of meant to feel that way though. It's like supposed to be, like the way Nathan Drake controls, like he's just kind of a adventure explorer that also happens to shoot a lot of guns. He's not necessarily like a trained Navy SEAL or something like that. Well, it makes sense. Yeah, and I don't know why. The Uncharted series has just not, and that's like one of Sony's major franchises that didn't really grip me the same way as some of the others. But then again, it's been a long time. So hearing that they're going to reboot Uncharted, to me, that seems like a good ground level for me to get into. Although a lot of people have been telling me for a long time, like, bro, you got to go back and play the older Uncharteds. And maybe one day I will. Naughty Dog really captured me with The Last of Us more than anything. But I'm really interested. I'm interested to see what they do next for Uncharted. The Caped Crusader, dude, thank you, man. $100 donation, bro. Thank you so much. That's extremely generous of you. Very kind. You're saying, MBG, you are my favorite gaming YouTube channel. See, dude, people say that to me, and that, I gotta tell you, like, that's one of the highest compliments I think I could get on YouTube, truly, because there's a lot of gaming YouTube channels, man. The competition is insane, and it's through the roof. So anytime somebody says like, dude, you're my favorite content creator, that's very kind. Very kind. You're saying, been following you for years and watched your whole transition from Xbox to PlayStation, LOL. I watch you a lot. I love that you engage with the viewers. Your content is entertaining and therapeutic, LOL. Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you, man. And I appreciate that, Cape Crusader. Yeah, as you can see by your member badge, you have been around for a while, and I see, man, like, I'm here every week with the podcast. Obviously, I see those who are here almost every week and really engaged, and I definitely notice. So thank you for that, man. I'm very humbled, very thankful. Yeah, you guys have blown me away today with the donations. Really, it's crazy. Shout out to you, Cape Crusader. Sir speaks a lot, saying people like MBG is why I build roads in Death Stranding. Also, I lost my mod status. Totally worth the complaints you get. I had to do it, man. I'm sorry. Sir speaks a lot. Dude, you're loyal, bro. But you're a loose cannon. You are a loose cannon. Look, anybody who's been around for a while, I have tolerated Sir Speaks a Lot and his Defiance as a mod for longer than I should have. But the time for me to remove mod status had to come when during the Game Awards, somebody super chatted me and said they were leaving because you nuked the chat. And I can't do that, man. That's what I'm talking about. We can't do that. It's okay though, Sir Speaks a Lot, because something tells me that your chaotic energy will not be leaving this channel anytime soon, which is okay. And who knows, maybe you can earn it back eventually. See, I don't know though. If I were to give Sir Speaks a Lot his mod ship back, you know what would happen. You know what would happen. We all know what would happen. So thank you for that, man. Josh Z, a member for 32 months, man. You're saying, Merry Christmas, MBG. The weather is crazy on the East Coast, like Fimbulwinter crazy. Wild end to 2022. What's a game or series that you never played, but you would like to get around to? Oh, dude, there's a lot. And yeah, when it comes to the weather, man, same here. Weather's been strange. It's been kind of all over the place. So I feel you there. I'm trying to. So there are quite a few series that I haven't gotten around to playing. Like there are those that I've heard about. I will say, like, this comes to mind. I know it's not necessary. I already did talk about it, but it really is, I think, given your question, worth bringing up again. If I didn't play Final Fantasy VII Remake, I would definitely say Final Fantasy, because that was one that was at the top of my list for a long time, where people were just like, dude, you got to at least play FF7 Remake. Just play it. Just play it, man. Like, you have to. So I crossed that off my list. I'm trying to. My brain's a little fried right now, so you'll have to forgive me. Because I know there has to be something there. I don't know, man. Somebody asking if I'm stoned? No, dude, trust me, I'm not stoned. My brain is just. I'm on another wavelength after tonight. Did I play the story of the DLC for Final Fantasy VII? I did. The Yuffie DLC, it was good. Yeah, Josh, I don't know, man. I feel like a series. See, the tough thing about this is there are multiple game series that are coming to the top of my head that I know I haven't played, but I'm not, like, I can't say that I'm interested in playing it, because I feel like if it was like, oh yeah, I want to play that, I would have already done it. But a game series that I see somebody mentioning Kingdom Hearts. That's an interesting one. Yeah, see, that's one where it's like many people have told me. Good example, Persona. Like, the amount of people that have said I have to play Persona at some point, and I haven't. And I'm going to be just totally honest, like, I'm not there yet. I don't know if I ever will be. But that's like one series. And say, another one, what series I might try at some point? Yeah, I see somebody mentioning Yakuza. That's one that I'm a little bit more interested in. Though, isn't there a new Yakuza game coming out like early next year? But they're not calling it Yakuza anymore? Devil Shooter says, yes, MBG, play Persona. Ishin. Yeah, maybe I'll have to try it. I don't know. Oh yeah, there you go. A Plague Tale. I didn't get to that one yet. Another, I haven't played The Witcher 3 yet, and people have told me like, dude, this is see, The Witcher 3 is a game that intimidates me. They just released the PS5 version, and I was like considering it, but every time I see, dude, people are like, dude, this game takes like 500 hours, and I'm like, oh man, like I'm nervous. I'm legitimately nervous because it's like there are so many games coming up that I want to play. I don't know that I can dedicate. Because you know what I don't like doing? You know what I don't like doing? To me, this is the worst feeling in the world. Is when you pick up a game and you play it and you get into it and you get like pretty deep into it, but then another game comes around, like a newer game, and it just makes you kind of like drop what you were just playing. I hate that. Like I'm the kind of person that when I start something, I feel like I have to finish it. Like I have to see it through. Not to say that it's like if I'm enjoying it, I'm enjoying it, but I guess I just mean like it's really difficult for me to willingly just drop myself into a very, very, very long game when I am basically preparing for a bunch of other games to come out in the coming weeks and months that I'm already going to have a hard enough time balancing, you know? But you know what? That's a great one that I wish I would have thought of sooner. Armored Core. I'm very, very, very intrigued to see what Armored Core 6 looks like now that From Software is on another level with the success they found in their budget. I've never played Armored Core, and I know they're saying it's not going to be like a Souls game. I'm very interested. Josh, you're saying that's been happening to you since The Last of Us 2. Yeah, dude, I game a lot, man. But you know what my weakness is with gaming? I don't think it's a weakness. I just think it's what stops me a lot of times from being able to play a lot of new games. And I know this is going to sound crazy to some people, but I've always told you guys, like, I love narrative single player games, right? Like that to me is the core of what gaming is because that's where I started. I didn't start playing online or multiplayer games. But I was pretty young when I started playing online multiplayer games. My weakness, though, is I get like addicted to to multiplayer games from time to time. And when I get addicted to them, like, dude, it just becomes like a routine that I have to actually balance out, like how much time I'm putting into those multiplayer games. For example, you may have noticed that I haven't really. Did I beat the Callisto Protocol? I did. Really, I enjoyed it. I did, but there's certainly something there that wasn't entirely. It didn't entirely live up to my expectations, but it was good. Like I'm not in the camp where it's like, oh, that was like a 5 or 6 out of 10. There were some things about it that were frustrating, but ultimately, I actually really enjoyed it. I liked the pacing. I just liked a lot about it. The ending, I'm not talking spoilers, but the ending left a little something to be desired, frankly. But like I beat the Callisto Protocol, and so the reason you're probably wondering, like, how come you haven't really been talking about what you've been playing the past weeks, dude? You want to know why? You want to know what I've been playing the past 2 weeks? Because I'm helplessly addicted to it again. Dead by Daylight. I got completely addicted to Dead by Daylight. Early last year, I put like 500 hours into it, more than that probably. Yeah, certainly more than that. I got addicted to playing as the killer, bought Pyramid Head, and I basically just went around that game killing people as Pyramid Head because it was like the most addicting feeling ever. And it's an amazing game, dude. Like Dead by Daylight is an incredible game. If you haven't played it, give it a try. I promise you'll probably find that, wow, this is a game you should have been playing. But the problem is I get addicted to these types of games. And this is why people probably are a little bit confused. They're like, MBG, how come you don't seem so against Sony deciding that they're going to make live service games? It's because, dude, like I've dumped a lot of time into live service games. You know, another game that I was addicted to, you're saying addicted to killing, huh? No, you know, you play as a killer. It's part of the game. All right, it's part of. Don't take that out of context. You know, another game that I dumped way too many hours into, like way too many for over the course of like a year or two, was PUBG. I got addicted to that game. And it's funny because like I remember when PUBG was like blowing up in like 2017, 18, and 19, I didn't care about it at all. I'm like, whatever, I don't get it. And then it like eventually came to PlayStation, and I'm like, all right, I'll try it. Sure. You know, my friends were telling me like, dude, we should play this game. And dude, like I was like, oh my God. Like I'll never forget like my first game of PUBG. I was like, this is incredible. I was like, this is amazing. And then I got addicted to it, and I got really, really good at it. And then I ended up overplaying it. And then I have the platinum for PUBG, by the way. I have the platinum for Dead by Daylight. Like this is how addicted I get to some of these games. So this is why when I hear Naughty Dog's making a live service online Last of Us game, I'm like, yes. Like, let's go. I am ready for that. Please. But that's not to say that like it means I don't play single player. Obviously, I play single player games and they're priority. But some of these, dude, I gotta admit, man, like some of these live service games, they find gameplay loops that are just so addicting. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. And I'm curious to see if Sony can capture that as well. Anyway, I still have quite a few. I see somebody saying a Warhawk or Starhawk remake. Yeah, we'll see, man. I doubt it. I think that's a dead IP for Sony. Cash Jam says, just showing support. Love what you do. Well, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for that, dude. Ian, you're saying love the content and the hat. Yeah, dude, the hat was a great idea for my wife. I was really, dude, I was so close to not wearing it because I'm like, maybe people, you know, I don't know. Should I wear it? I was like, I'll go for it. Why not? Let's have some fun with it. So I'm glad. I'm glad people like the hat. Big Turbo 2.0 on IG says, order PSVR 2 live now, LOL. Dude, I'm not going to do it yet. Trust me, when the day comes, it's going to happen. Okay? When the day comes, it's going to happen. Dude, I got to be honest, man. Like, gaming, this is why, look, I've always said, I will pay for quality as long as I can afford to do so. Like, I believe in that. I believe in paying. You get what you pay for. But at the same time, like, dude, have you guys seen 2023? Like, it's scary. It's legitimately scary. There's so much. Do you know, like, I'm sitting here thinking, are you telling me Sony might release PSVR 2, a DualSense Edge, and possibly by the end of the year, a PS5 Slim in the same year? Bro, that's on top of all of the games that are coming out. That's crazy, man. 2023 is looking ridiculous. I feel like 2023 is legitimately the year where we are now seeing. You remember when we heard about how COVID was going to, and the pandemic was going to like push games back like way further? I feel like now 2023, we're beginning to see like, oh, so that's where all those games are coming from. Because that's crazy. Kratos99 says MBG's actual name is Hassan Karaman. You got me. Good times. Zanarkand Blitzer, you're saying MBG, you missed my milestones. Yeah, I got that, buddy. I got that. I got you. Chris B with a $50 donation, man. Thank you. Saying, did I miss the part with the clown wig and the last Hassan talk of 2022? Have a great Christmas. You know, I'm pretty sure before I end this podcast, because how long has it been going? I completely lost track of time. 2 hours and 40 minutes. Okay. I'm going to go over to my community tab to read what questions you guys posed. I'm pretty sure somebody put a blue box question, so it could very well be the final time we talk about it. not in depth, but it was just a general question. So I don't think you didn't miss it yet. You didn't miss it yet, Chris B. Jacob, I'm gonna get to your super chat, man. No worries, no worries, dude. We're not even on the first topic yet. Look, this was a bananas, and I don't use that word often. Podcast. I'm sorry. I apologize to anybody who was coming into this podcast expecting it to be a normal episode. I wasn't expecting this, and I hope to get things onto a regular cadence once again come the first podcast of January. So, yeah. You're saying this was a good one? Yeah, you know what? It's not too bad either. I'm actually really glad that it went down this way, because I'm going to be honest, like, I was a little bit nervous about the topics I had lined up, because I'm like, I don't know that there's really too much I can extract out of these topics, because it's just like this past week, you guys know, it's everybody's getting ready to go on holiday, you know, everybody's shutting down, closing shop. News is very, very scarce. There's just not much going on. So thank you for that, Crispy. It's very generous of you. And Disco Cobra 2013, you're saying, howdy MBG, just came from the Neurotic channel. Hope you have solid holidays, Happy New Year, and all that jazz. Which games are you most excited for in 2023? For me, it's Resident Evil 4 Remake and possibly Spider-Man 2 Dead Space Remake. So great question, man, and thank you for the super chat. And happy holidays and New Year to you as well. So 2023 games that I'm looking forward to. Right off the bat, I'm right there with you, Dead Space Remake. Forspoken was a game that I was looking forward to, but after the demo, that's going to be a game where I'll make the decision at the 11th hour. Like, I'm not going to buy it at launch. I'm going to wait. I'm going to see this is one of those cases where I'm going to kind of start to hear what people are saying, because I don't know, man. I really, really didn't enjoy that demo. And I feel I don't want to do that thing where it's like, I'm going to buy this game and play it because I feel obligated to for my channel, because I don't think anybody wants that. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is I feel like I kind of did play it. Like, if the reviews come out and it's like, they've made major changes and improvements since the demo, and it's reviewing really well, and it's like, there's just so much more to this game than even the demo offered. Then I'll definitely look at it. But Dead Space Remake, definitely looking forward to that. RE4 Remake, I think right now, outside of Spider-Man 2, I think RE4 Remake is my most excited. I feel bad because it's like remake, but dude, RE4 is one of my favorite games of all time. In fact, speaking of Dead by Daylight, I gotta admit it, I bought the Leon skin, specifically the Resident Evil 4 Leon skin. All right. Sorry. I know. I know, but I couldn't help it. I'm a sucker for Resident Evil. I'm specifically a sucker for Resident Evil 4. It's my favorite Resident Evil. And dude, I don't know how many of you guys watched the live stream of me reacting to the first Resident Evil 4 gameplay that they put out, but I was blown away, dude. I was like, holy shit, this looks incredible. So that is a game that is certainly at the top of my list. I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up playing Hogwarts Legacy. I feel like it looks like it's going to be a great game. I'm not that into Harry Potter, but it looks like it's going to be a great game. That could maybe, I don't know. Yeah, dude. Pun intended, you're saying they got MBG hooked. They did, dude. They did. Dude, I'm so hooked on Dead by Daylight. I'm over here being like, yo, go play Dead by Daylight. I was thinking about doing a stream. Honestly, my wife told me, she's like, you should do a Dead by Daylight stream, invite some of your viewers. And I'm like, maybe I should. Oh yeah, Jedi Survivor. Absolutely. That's another one I'm looking forward to, man. Absolutely. Jedi Survivor. There's a lot of games coming. Final Fantasy 16. Actually, Dead Island 2 looks like it could be pretty fun. That's not at the top of my list, but that looks like it could be pretty fun. I'm also curious to see what other games that we don't know about yet for 2023. So thank you for that, Disco Cobra. Zanarkand Blitzer, you're saying, MBG, I think I might not play Forspoken day one, probably later in 2023. I'll catch up with my gaming backlog. Plus, on February, Hogwarts Legacy is coming. Hagrid, you're a wizard, MBG. Yeah, rip, man. Rip. Yeah, I can't believe that I was so disappointed with the demo for Forspoken. And I'm not talking badly about it. I was just upset. Like, I really thought I would like it more. So, yeah. Hogwarts. You know what the thing about Hogwarts Legacy though is that game. I don't know how you guys are like feeling with this game, but that game seems like it's going to be colossal. Does anybody get that feeling? Like, I feel like that's going to be like 100+ hour game. I really get that feeling with Hogwarts Legacy, which I think is good because it looks like even as somebody who's not a big fan of Harry Potter, like Hogwarts Legacy looks like it's going to be the definitive Harry Potter game, or game based in that universe. So thank you for that, Zanarkand. And Jacob, you're saying, what is your dream Sony purchase studio/publisher? Well, that's easy for me, honestly. I'm gonna say a publisher, but I want it to be known that it doesn't necessarily have to be the entire publisher. It could be the IP. Konami, hands down, Konami. Konami wields some of the most important IP to me in video gaming, specifically the Metal Gear Solid series. I would love to see Sony get the Metal Gear Solid IP and own it. I don't think it'll happen. I don't think Konami would ever sell it. Same thing with Silent Hill. Same thing with even Castlevania. But I'm glad to see that Konami's coming back. I know you're saying they already have it. I mean, like, to a degree in which Sony owns Silent Hill, and then they're gonna give Silent Hill to I don't know. I don't even know what Sony first party studio would make a good Silent Hill game. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but basically if one of their studios picked it up and were like, yeah, we'll make a Silent Hill game, but for me it's Metal Gear Solid. I feel like Sony could do justice. I know it would miss Kojima, but I just think the Metal Gear Solid world is so, like, I think it was proven that spin-offs can work with, like, Metal Gear Rising. But for me, it's Konami, man. Like, I think Konami they just have some of the most, in my opinion, valuable IP. And they would, I just think Sony could do great things with that. But outside of that, man, I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of MBG, Sony can allow PT to finish. You know what, Devil Shooter? I'll say this too. I've been like listening. I don't know if you guys have been like paying attention to the things that Hideo Kojima's been saying in his like interviews and podcasts recently, but you can definitely tell that he has no interest whatsoever in working with Konami ever again, in working on Silent Hill or Metal Gear or any, like he's over it, man. He's turned onto a new chapter, and I really think that he made that clear. In fact, recently, I think it was on his podcast, Hideo Kojima did confirm, he's like, Kojima Productions will never work on an external IP. They will only work on IP that is theirs. And you know what? I was listening recently to Sacred Symbols. I don't know if you guys listen to that. They're, shout out to them. They have a great podcast. And they took a question. They always get questions from their audience, write-ins. And one of the it's really intrigued me because I was like, oh, I totally missed that. Apparently, people were inspecting the how like when Sony releases official images of their exclusives, at the bottom left corner they have all the trademark logos and all the legal stuff. People were saying that the language that was being used is different. So for Death Stranding 1, it says like it's a copyright, trademark, whatever, like it, or basically what it was saying is Sony owns it. That's what it read at the bottom of any of the marketing material for Death Stranding 1. But for DS2, as they're calling it, not Death Stranding 2, but DS2, it actually doesn't say that. It says Kojima Productions owns it. Now, this is really interesting because that seems to potentially indicate that Sony may have sold the Death Stranding IP to Kojima Productions or something along those lines. Or I also saw people speculating that, the game is technically not called Death Stranding 2 yet. It says it's called DS2 and it's a working title, which means they're working on it. It's going to change. It almost makes me wonder, like, did Kojima purposely want to name this game differently to try to... I don't know. It's a little weird. It's a little weird because, we've been talking for a while about Death Stranding, about how, like, oh yeah, Sony owns this IP. Sony owns the Death Stranding IP. Saying now they are jointly owning the IP. Yeah, something's going on, dude. Something's going on. I don't know what. Let me see here. Kevin G, you're saying, I got a Horizon Forbidden West code I want to give away. Should I drop it in the chat or can I message you? Well, the thing is, I'm not going to be going live again. And I think I actually got a super chat about this. Really, I'm going to skip to Zanarkand Blitzer's super chat really quick because he says, MBG, can you confirm you'll be having a podcast on New Year's Day 2023? What time will it be on? So I can confirm that, yes, I'm doing the episode 141 of Press X Podcast on New Year's Day. It'll be the same time, 12 p.m. Eastern, Sunday, January 1st, here on the channel. A lot of you guys, people waking up feeling hungover, too much partying maybe. Just turn on the podcast, come hang out with me. So, but yeah, I'm just saying, you're saying you have a code. Yeah, I mean, look, man, I'm thinking maybe we could just put it in the chat. Let somebody, I feel like that's the fairest way to do it. Just let the first person who can put it in, do that. It's like maybe a little giveaway. Saying, what a January 1st podcast. This is going to be hard. What's going to be hard about it? It's going to be hard for you to tune in? Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that too. Because I don't know, like that. I feel like that's one of those days where it's like either there will be more viewership because, yeah, Christmas giveaway. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to do it though. As I said earlier in this podcast, my hope with the January 1st podcast is we can make that podcast focus totally on let's talk about our predictions, our hopes, our dreams, our wishes for PlayStation in 2023. But let me see. So Kevin G is, everybody, hold on, don't post it yet. I hope it's not delayed. Oh, there it is. All right, guys, the code's out. Wait, no, it's going to be in 2 messages. There you go, guys. It's there. Thank you, Kevin G. He put a code in the chat. It's there right now for a, I don't know if it's a PS5 or PS4 copy of Horizon Forbidden West. So maybe somebody was already sitting there. But good luck. Good luck to whoever gets it. Thank you for that, man. Saying, oh yeah, it should be for both. Okay, cool. Thank you for that, man. That was very kind of you. It was very kind of you. Let me know. Somebody, if you're the person who got it, let us know in the chat. Let us know if you end up getting it. Yeah, that was cool, man. Let me see here. Slimothy, a member for 4 months, you're saying, what is your most anticipated game for 2023? Mine is Spider-Man 2. Well, I did say that I think Resident Evil 4, like Spider-Man 2 is up there. Here's how I look at it. The first half of 2023, my most anticipated is RE4 Remake. The second half is Spider-Man 2. I can't really say, like, am I more excited for RE4 Remake over Spider-Man 2? I don't think so. I'm like, the thing is, because the reason why I'm more excited for Spider-Man 2 is because it is a new game. It is a sequel, but with RE4 Remake, for as excited as I am about that game, I do know what's going to happen. You know, I do know what, I know exactly how it's going to play out, and I'm excited to see it really brought up, but I think it's Spider-Man 2, knowing that Venom's going to be there, it's going to be Spider-Man and Miles Morales, knowing it's going to be PS5 only, it takes the cake. It does. It takes the cake. Final Fantasy 16's up there for me, though, too. It is. Let me see. Karamovic, thank you for becoming a channel member, man. Welcome to Greatness Awaits. That's awesome. This is so cool, man. It's so cool to see so many people joining the channel, becoming members. Thank you. We have Sage Infinite NJ. You're saying, found your channel searching for any Death Stranding info I could find. Been here ever since. Much love and happy holidays. Play Sekiro. Yeah, that's another one. That's another game that's on my backlog. Sekiro. But yeah, dude, I remember. You know what one of the craziest things that ever happened to me was? Speaking of Death Stranding, dude, I remember when Death Stranding, when we were getting close to the launch, I was making more and more videos on it, and there was this one video I made, and it happened to blow up a little bit. It was of a leaked review of Death Stranding, like a couple days before the review embargo lifted, and I made a video where basically it was saying that the reviewer said it's like one of the best games ever made. And apparently Norman Reedus actually came across my video and was interested enough to watch at least some of it. And he actually screenshotted my video and the thumbnail, and he put it on his Instagram. Now, unfortunately, he cut it off to where you couldn't see my channel name. So I was like, damn. But it was my video and the thumbnail, and I was like, holy shit, like that is... I did not think that, Norman Reedus was going to watch my video about Death Stranding and then feel like, yo, he must have felt pretty good too, because he was like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is one of the best. I worked on one of the best video games out there. So that was really cool. I'll never forget how insane that was when I saw that. Speaking of Death Stranding, but yeah, dude, I appreciate that. It's always cool to hear like how long people have kind of been hanging around and sticking around, supporting the channel. Magnum Visuals, you're saying, I'm addicted to Battlefield 2042. I put 400 hours this year. You should try it. It's the first-person shooter. Merry Christmas, MBG. Yeah, man, I've heard that. I've heard that Battlefield 2042 has made kind of a comeback in a way, like they really turned it around, but I don't know if I can bring myself to play it. I feel like Dead by Daylight, it's got its hooks into me, man. I don't know. The way they handled Battlefield 2042 really rubbed me the wrong way, but I've always loved Battlefield though, man. I've played a lot of Battlefield over the years. I've always enjoyed it. Shout out to Battlefield Bad Company 1 and 2. In my opinion, the best Battlefield games, and Battlefield 3 was really good too. So, we'll see. Maybe, I don't know. At this point, I feel like I'd rather just wait for the next Battlefield to see what they do. Planet Schlorpian, thank you, man. You're saying it's going to be an absolutely frigid, cold Christmas where I live, and I'm finally getting around to playing Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok since I'm on holiday break. Hope your family has a great Christmas, MBG. Well, thank you, man. I hope you and your family have a great Christmas as well. And that just sounds awesome, doesn't it? Like, I feel like that's kind of the dream right there. I'm assuming you're going to be playing these games on PS5. Maybe not. Maybe you're playing on PS4. But, I don't know if it's going to snow where you live. But Christmas break, maybe it snows. If not, freezing cold outside, but cozied up, warm at home. Just playing video games all day, relaxing. It sounds great. Sounds great, man. Sounds like the dream. So I hope you enjoy yourself. And I gotta say, man, for those who waited to play these games, can you imagine playing Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok back to back? That's crazy. Yeah, that's gaming weather right there. So thank you for that, Planet Schlorpian. And Overexposure, you're saying, love you, MBG. Have you played Terminator Resistance? Actually, I heard good things about that game. I heard good things about Terminator Resistance. I haven't played it myself, but I heard that was one of those games that it was like supposed to be complete and utter garbage, and then like it turns out it was like, actually, this is a pretty competent game. This is pretty good. And I think they're making a new Terminator, if I'm not mistaken. So I haven't played it, but did you guys hear recently how James Cameron, I think, he basically threw Arnold Schwarzenegger under the bus, talking about the Terminator? He was like, what was the last Terminator Genesis? I don't remember the name of the last Terminator movie that came out, but like people kind of hated it, but Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it. They brought him back, and James Cameron was basically like, yeah, I think we shouldn't have brought Arnold back. Like, basically making it sound like a Dark Fate. Okay, I guess that was the latest one. Basically making it sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger is the reason that movie was bad. And I'm going to be honest, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm a huge fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger, man. And I didn't like that comment. I'm like, yo, let's get something straight. He was probably, I didn't see the movie because I heard it was really bad. And I didn't want to see them, I don't want to see them ruin Terminator anymore. But if I had to guess, he was probably the best part of the movie, if I had to guess. And if not the best part, just good at the very least. Yeah, there you go. See, Mario gets it. And I was just like, come on, man. Arnie is the Terminator. What's funny too? I know everybody has like, well, not everybody, but a lot of people have a traditional like Christmas or holiday movie that they watch. And you know what my movie is? Jingle All the Way. Shout out to Jingle All the Way. Going to be watching that tomorrow night. I'm telling you, man, Arnold Schwarzenegger was a huge inspiration for me growing up. Yeah, Turbo, man, let's go. It's Turbo time. There you go. There, you guys got it out of me. You got the Arnold. Dude, I used to do Arnold impersonations all the time. You know who really got me into trying to do Arnold impersonations was Will Sasso. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Mad TV. Mad TV has, I think, been off the air for a long time. You're saying MBG is cracked. Yeah, dude, I am a little bit. But there was this skit that would happen on Mad TV where Will Sasso would play Arnold Schwarzenegger. And dude, oh my God, it was the funniest shit I had ever seen. And yeah, I'm a clone. I'm going to stop because, dude, people are going to start clipping me and be like, MBG lost it. MBG lost his mind. Dude, that's awesome. I love that. Really, Planet Schlorpian, hold on. Unintended Studios says, so your workout music is Austrian Death Machine, right? Okay, so for those who don't know, there is, I don't think they're together anymore. In fact, I actually think the singer of this band went to jail for which is so, like, it's the most insane shit you ever heard. So there was a singer, and what metal band is it? As I Lay Dying. I don't want to get the bands mixed up. There was a metal band where the singer decided to basically create another band called Austrian Death Machine, where I'm not kidding. They made albums, and every album on the song was about an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. And they actually would they would have somebody sing as Arnold. And it was insane, and it was amazing. And I just couldn't believe it was a real thing and how good it actually sounded. Unfortunately, though, the singer of the band, which is really sad, went to prison for, I think he got caught hiring a hitman to take out his wife, bro. Like, what the I don't know what the hell was up with that, but yeah, weird. People are weird, man. But yeah, Austrian Death Machine, I know, a bro moment for sure. Like, what is I was really upset because I was like, dude, I thought this was like the coolest thing ever. And then it do be like that sometimes. Dude, people are whack, man. Like, what are they? People are trying to get people whacked, clearly. Oh, man. Planet Schlorpian, you're saying, I played some High on Life on PC, and it's hilarious. Justin Roiland humor. His show, Solar Opposites, is where my username comes from. Are you a fan of shows like that, or Rick and Morty by any chance? I've seen a couple seasons of Rick and Morty, and I really did enjoy it. It was a really good show. I fell off of it. No particular reason. It just happens sometimes. But I did enjoy the first couple seasons that I watched. Maybe I'll have to get back to it. And I knew your name was from, Planet Schlorpian. But I've been hearing really good things about High on Life. And actually, it's pretty funny how in the 11th hour, Xbox finally gets a win, man. Like, I think that this game, High on Life, was getting pretty crushed by reviews at first, but then it really started to gain traction, word of mouth, and I heard that the gameplay itself can be a little bit bland, but it makes up for it because it's just really funny. It's like a real, and I know that type of humor. I know what they're going for, and I don't know. I mean, if it comes up, I'm sure it'll come to PlayStation at some point. Maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe. But apparently it was the biggest day one launch into Game Pass or something like that. So, excuse me. It's worth noting, by the way, that apparently when it comes to the humor in the game, it's one of these situations where you're either going to love the humor or you're going to hate it. So, yeah, I mean, take that for what it is. But thank you for that, Planet Schlorpian. And as an Arcane Blitzer, thank you, man. You're saying, MBG, are you ready to play Final Fantasy 16? The game will be long. Final Fantasy games are long with a lot of content. Final Fantasy VII Remake is based on the Midgar section of the OG FF7 game, around 5%. More to remake, in Rebirth. Yeah, dude, that's the thing, is leading up to Final Fantasy 16, I'm going to make sure, or at least I'm going to try my best to make sure that my slate is clear. I'm going to be cognizant of any games I buy in May, right? If I buy any games in May, because I'm going to know that, June, Final Fantasy, I know it's going to be I expect it to be a massive game. We have to set aside a lot of time. And you could, I could just tell that Final Fantasy 16 is going to be one of those games where it's like, once I get into it, I'm getting into it. I'm buckling in and I'm going for a ride, So I better get comfortable. So I am, man. And yeah, dude, I'm curious to see more about Rebirth as well. I am, because I feel like Sony and Square Enix, they have a really good thing going right now with Final Fantasy. And I think both of them are covered. I think 2023 is obviously covered by Final Fantasy 16, and I do think Rebirth will be a 2024 game for sure. So I think they're doing well. They're doing well. I'm interested to see how Forspoken does, just because it's a new IP, and clearly Sony took a chance on that. So did Square Enix, obviously. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm ready though. I'm ready. I can't wait. Oh God, man, this has been a wild podcast, man. Not many people left watching, but that's okay. That is okay. I get it. I did not like. So now I'm wondering, like, does this mean I should start doing this podcast went ridiculously well because of you guys, and I don't know what to take from it in terms of, like, should I start doing my podcast Friday nights? You know what I mean? Like, should I I'm not sure. Saying no. Yeah, I'm not. I'm thinking that doesn't have much to do with it. Somebody says yes. A lot of people saying no. Yeah, I feel like you guys, you're saying stream some games. Yeah, I don't think I'm not so sure that the time I streamed had anything to do with it. But sure, I mean, surely you guys see why it feels a little strange. Only because it's like, well, this is my first time doing a evening podcast, a Friday evening podcast. And it's funny because I went into it hoping, like, oh, I hope it doesn't go poorly. And then it's like, this is by far the single best podcast I've ever done, at least in terms of engagement. So it's, but I do get the feeling that it wouldn't have been much different if I had, well, maybe not necessarily on Christmas, but if this was a Sunday, yeah, I don't think it would have been much different. Because what's interesting too is that the viewership, believe it or not, for as well as this podcast went, the viewership is like the lowest it's been all year, shockingly. Which, well, maybe, actually that's not, I'm only saying that's shocking because it went so well. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. I'm for now. What I'll say this: I don't plan to shift my podcast time. Like I'm planning to continue to do my podcast on Sundays at the same time. But I will tell you, maybe spontaneously, I might do another Friday evening podcast if I feel up to it, just to see. Because I don't know, man. You have to. That's the thing about YouTube. Sometimes is YouTube they turn you into a numbers person. You can't help it. They shove analytics down your throat. If you're checking anything on your YouTube channel, they got like, it's like spreadsheets everywhere, man. In fact, I try to avoid it because it's too much. But this is an interesting. You're saying it's 3:12 a.m. where you are. Wow. Yeah. So again, any topic. So at the beginning of this podcast, I basically listed off topics that we were going to discuss. As you can clearly tell, that's not going to happen. I'm approaching the 3 hour and 15-minute mark, and I'm just Jay Shaco saying yes, do it on Friday. I'm sorry, Planet Schlorpian. I almost missed your super chat. You're saying I really hope the rumors of a Final Fantasy IX remake are true. They probably are, dude. If it was on, I heard that was on the NVIDIA leak. Yeah, they probably are. No joke. Because everything that was on that NVIDIA leak, almost everything, it's like it's slowly becoming true. I don't think that leak has missed yet. So, yeah, I think it's gonna happen. Another Final Fantasy game I never played. Final Fantasy IX. What generation is that? Did that release for like the PS2, PS3? Not familiar. PS1. Holy shit. I didn't know that. You know what? I guess that would make sense. Is Final Fantasy IX like held in really high regard? Is that like up there with Final Fantasy VII? Because I feel like that's not one I've heard about too much. 7, 8, and 9 on PS1. Saying no, it's not. Hmm. It has too much love, at least from fans. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like there's so many Final Fantasy games. I don't even know which ones are held in like high regard. But anyway, guys, I will tell you this. Here's something. One reason why I'm considering not doing my podcast Friday nights, because I don't know if you, dude, I'm like tired. I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't get much sleep last night, and I'm positive that's having the biggest impact. But I noticed my energy levels seem to peter out a little bit quicker than Sunday afternoon, for example. So that's something I'm going to consider. But I want to apologize to anybody who tuned into this podcast, whether it was live or if you're somebody who maybe watched it afterwards and maybe you were a little bit disappointed thinking it was going to be like a normal episode and I maybe set it up as a normal episode where I listed all the topics. I apologize for not getting to all those topics. But this, I got to say, this podcast episode was an absolute wild ride. And I still don't think it's fully processed. Just how insane it was. And yeah, it was a little bit emotionally draining. Yeah. Saying you don't need to apologize, MBG. It's your podcast. You do you. No, I know that. It's just that I know that there are those who have a desire to see me take the podcast in a more organized, like somewhat organized way. And that's, that's the thing is I realize that my podcast has become so free flowing. And today's a very good example of that, where it's so, we can go in all different directions. I've been thinking about what new type of content maybe I can bring to the channel in 2023. Because obviously I have my news videos. You guys know if you follow the regular weekly content, it's 90 to 95% news based, which I enjoy doing that, and I'm hoping that the news cycle in 2023 for PlayStation is rich. I'm hoping it's rich because I feel like between the pandemic, between COVID causing issues for game developers, for the PS5 shortage, and even for a little while there, Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard, I feel like there was just a bunch of wrenches being thrown into the gaming news cycle over and over again. And I could kind of feel that throughout 2021 and even 2022. So I'm really hopeful that that's going to change going into next year. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I think, as William said, earlier with his super chat, the best is yet to come, man. And 2023 is supposed to, like, the third year of a new console is a very, very important year. It's a peak year. The third and fourth year, like peak years for a console generation. So I think William is on to something, and I think we might be in for a really exciting year next year. I mean, we're close now. We're just a week away. So, yeah, I think with that said, I'm gonna have to wrap this podcast up. But before I do, it's really important that I want to once again, even though I know I spent a whole chunk of time earlier doing it, it's necessary. I have to give a sincere thank you, first and foremost, to everybody, every single person who has watched my videos, who has interacted with my videos, who has watched my podcasts, interacted with them, watched any of my live streams, and just hung out with me. I have to thank all of you because we made it through another year. I think it was a great year. And you know what? I got to do one last thing though. It's only the right thing to do because I realized that I have it in my title and I didn't even talk about it. Before I end the podcast, I'm going to give my final thoughts and my final review for PlayStation in 2022. I feel like that's absolutely something I should do. Pragmatic Cat says, Merry Christmas, MBG. Well, Merry Christmas to you as well, Pragmatic Cat. So I'm going to keep it pretty short and concise, but my review for PlayStation in 2022, if I had to rate it out of 10, I think I would give PlayStation an 8 out of 10, maybe an 8.5. Now, the only reason for this, that's my personal ranking. Okay? That's just me. And the only reason I'm giving it that is because I didn't play GT7. Okay? I didn't play GT7, and I felt like there was a bit of a gap between Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok. You know what? Scratch that. I got to pull that back. I'm losing. See, give me a second. I'm losing track. I apologize. I'm getting my games mixed up, and I'm forgetting. This is how you know my brain's fried. I should have made this the first topic. So let me recap really quick what I played on my PlayStation 5 in 2022. Sifu, I'm talking like PlayStation exclusives, even though Sifu was just announced for Xbox. Sifu, Ghostwire Tokyo, Horizon Forbidden West, Ghostwire Tokyo. I know there was God of War Ragnarok. I skipped out on GT7. I feel like there's something I'm missing. I'll go check the PlayStation app. I should have had this prepared. So, hold on. Am I misremembering Stray? Yeah, okay. Stray. I knew there was something I was forgetting. Stray I actually didn't get around to yet either. Shame on me. The Last of Us Part 1. Okay. Yeah. You guys will have to forgive me. It's all a blur at this point. So we'll do this together. All right, so let's lay it out. I'm not gonna give my personal review because I honestly, I think Sony had a great year. Just personally, I feel like there isn't much more I could have asked from Sony for the second year of the PS5. But objectively speaking, I think Sony nailed it, dude. I think Sony had an amazing year in 2022 because the more I think about it, they had something. It was consistent. It was consistent and it was quality. And you guys know when I talk about my personal expectation for PlayStation, what do I expect from them? It's those two things. Consistently releasing quality games. That's it. That's what I expect. And when I look from the start of the year to the end, Sony kicked ass, dude. Yeah, they really did. Even with a timed, one of the highlights of the year for me, we talk about Horizon Forbidden West. We talk about God of War Ragnarok. GT7 was big for a lot of people. These are the standouts. But even Sifu, that was one of my favorite games of the year, man. Sifu kicked ass. Pun intended. Pun intended that time. But you know what else? You know what else was a surprise hit for me? Ghostwire Tokyo. And I know that's technically an Xbox game now, and that's an Xbox studio, but I've always enjoyed Tango Gameworks. I love The Evil Within, and I was a little bit nervous about Ghostwire Tokyo, but I platinumed that game, man. I ended up enjoying it a lot more. Don't get me wrong, I don't think Ghostwire Tokyo was as good as Horizon or God of War, but it was a really solid game. And so I just think, being able to close out the year with Ragnarok. Yeah, dude, Sony was on point. I mean, I know people, and Sony had multiple stated plays. Sony had their best stated plays ever this year. Their June and September stated plays were awesome. Maybe they weren't necessarily as big or as, shocking as a full-blown showcase, but all things considered, man, I think Sony had a really great 2022. And if I had to give them a grade, A, B, C, D, or F, I give Sony an A. Objectively speaking. I just don't know how you could argue that. I mean, yes, The Last of Us Part 1, I know people are like, oh my God, it was, why would they remake that? It was overpriced. But objectively speaking, for somebody who bought a PS5 and never played The Last of Us, dude, I mean, playing Horizon GT7, like if you're somebody who bought a PlayStation 5, you buy Horizon GT7, The Last of Us Part 1, it's your first time playing it, and God of War Ragnarok, my God. What a year, dude. What a year. And we all, MLB, I mean, I know that's a multi-platform title, but that's still a PlayStation first-party studio. So yeah, dude, I think Sony, I give them an A for 2022. And I think that they're going to have, I mean, I'm looking, you're saying a remake doesn't count. I mean, I think it depends. Like for me personally, it doesn't count towards giving Sony an A, personally. The reason being, I played The Last of Us. Before the remake. So that's why for me, I don't know that I could contribute that to giving Sony an A personally. I did enjoy it though. Like that, it's also a situation where it's like, dude, I played that game and I platinumed it. It's not like I didn't enjoy it. The only thing that bothered me a little bit about The Last of Us Part 1 was I just felt like 70 was pushing it a little bit too much. I didn't have a problem with them doing what they did with it. I thought that it looked incredible. Like, dude, The Last of Us Part 1 looks insane on the PS5. I was just a little bit frustrated that, you could maybe do $50. I think $50 would have been better. But yeah, that's my review for PlayStation in 2022. I give it an A. I apologize. I should have talked more in depth about it, but at this point, I'm going to be putting all my energy into talking about my expectations for 2023, and that's interesting to think. Is Sony going to be able to have another A year? You know what? Maybe we could grade it as, could 2023 be an S tier year? That's so weird to say. Tier year, S tier year. Could it be an S tier year for PlayStation? Because it's tough, man. Would you say 2022 is S tier? Or just A? I'm curious to see what you guys think. Kevin G says A. Trophy Achievement Hunter says B. A+. Yeah, A+ sounds about right. We're doing pluses. So I think everybody's in agreement that I think 2022 wasn't quite an S year, an S tier. A+. I agree with that. I think in order for Sony to have an S tier, an S rank, I gotta stop saying tier, year. I'm losing it, man. In order for Sony to have an S rank 2023, I think they're going to have a surprise game release that we don't know about yet, that kind of, I don't want to say comes out of nowhere, but is announced, comes out, and, because I think we need a little bit more of a, I don't know, I think Sony's going to need that little extra nudge. Maybe not, though, man. I think it's worth noting that both Final Fantasy 16 and Spider-Man 2 are going to be PS5 only. So, I don't know. Yeah, Blue Point, when are they ready to go next? But yeah, I wanted to make sure to end the podcast because I felt really bad. I realized I have that in my title and I didn't even say anything yet. I give Sony an A for 2022. It wasn't a perfect year. It wasn't perfect. But it was probably the best I could have asked for the second year of the PS5. One of the only things, like one of my main criticisms, and I think Sony's clearly going to correct this in 2023, my main criticism for Sony in 2022 is I felt like they didn't give the PS5 itself enough love. And what I mean by that is I feel like by the time we got to Ragnarok and when we started hearing the developers say like, yeah, this is the best PS4 game we've ever made, like that's where it's like, okay, I'm ready to stop hearing that now. You know what I mean? Like I feel like this whole year, not just from Sony, but in general, there's just too much cross-gen. And I'm really excited to see like, you know, what we can start to get from games that have been built from the ground up, targeting the PS5 and the PS5 only. Less cross-gen games, more focus on PS5. That's what I'm excited about. Thank you, Ola Tawos. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, man, but thank you for becoming a channel member. I appreciate the support. Welcome aboard. And then we have Fearless Cheshire Cat again, still here with us, saying, "Did you ever play Crisis Core, the prequel to Final Fantasy VII?" No, I know I'm hearing really good things about it. I don't know, man. That's one of those things where it's like I'm hearing it's not as good as Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I'm a little bit hesitant because I don't want to stick with the tier rankings here. If Final Fantasy VII Remake is considered an S tier game, and maybe Crisis Core Remake is maybe like a B tier or B plus, I don't know if I want to do that because I'm still fresh in the Final Fantasy, and I don't want to. I don't know, man. I don't want to go. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't want to go into Crisis Core Remake and think this is going to be as good as Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then it's like, nah. Zanarkand Blitzer, you're saying MBG, I recommend you don't play the prequel Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion until you played the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. It's like the Star Wars OG trilogy. Then you watch the prequel Star Wars trilogy as you haven't played OG Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, that I did hear that. Like that there might be some stuff there that could mess me up a little bit. But that worries me even more because, dude, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is probably going to be even better than Final Fantasy VII Remake. And by that point, I don't know. Maybe I'll just check out the story bits, for Crisis Core Reunion to understand what's going on with the story. Because I don't know, like the gameplay in Final Fantasy VII Remake is so good. It's so good. I don't want to risk tainting that. You're saying how can you rank a game you don't play these days? No, don't get me wrong. I'm not calling it B tier. I'm just saying based off of what I've heard from other people, I've heard that. Like I've heard people saying like, yeah, it's not really Final Fantasy VII Remake level. Like it's not on that same level. That's just kind of what it made me think. Like, oh, okay. So that was just my analogy. I'm not saying that's what it is. Don't get me wrong. It would be like if Final Fantasy VII Remake, if somebody was giving a review and they were like, yeah, dude, Final Fantasy VII Remake's like a 10 out of 10 easily. And then you were like, yeah, Crisis Core Reunion Remaster, maybe like a 7.5 out of 10. Not really the same, Kind of in that vein. Fearless Cheshire Cat again, man. You're saying 2023 Dead Space Remake, Forspoken, Octopath Traveler 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Hogwarts Legacy, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Final Fantasy 16, maybe Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, dude, when you look at a list like that, surely something's got to go, right? Something's got to. Like those last two you listed, I just don't see them coming out next year. But I feel like it's okay because if we're already getting all these great games, just getting updates on these other great games, I think would be enough. Blue Streak says no Stellar Blade love. You know what game I want to see more of? I want to see more Rise of the Ronin. Dude, that game is giving me some serious Ghost of Tsushima vibes, and I want to see more of that game. That looks really good. I was very surprised when they announced that game because it just looks so good. All right, guys. I think this is where I'm going to have to wrap this final podcast of the year up. And I just want to make sure before heading out that I once again sincerely thank you guys for your support. This is by far the best podcast I've ever had. I think it might be the best stream I've ever had. And I assure you that when I set this stream up today and made the decision to do this, I felt incredibly unsure. I did not even remotely expect what happened here to happen. And as I said earlier, because we went through a whole wave of emotions, and I do feel kind of drained. You guys have pulled through for me in a way that I couldn't have imagined. And, you know, I told you earlier that not to bring, get serious again or anything, but, me and my wife are going through some things right now. And you guys coming in and just being like, man, we got you, MBG. We got you. Thank you for what you do. This is our way of showing we appreciate you. Really, greatest. This is the greatest Christmas gift my viewers could have given me, and it touches me. I feel touched, really, that you guys did this for me today. So, yeah, man. I also want to add to that. This has been incredibly motivating. It really has. I'm feeling. Right now, physically, I'm tired, but mentally, I'm feeling very energized about next year, about what we can do on the channel. I'm excited to keep grinding, to keep making sure that I'm keeping you guys covered with video game news, PlayStation news, covering games, and yeah, dude. So one last thing I'll mention here too. And this just entered my yeah, you're saying I hope this is the shot in the arm you needed. Yeah, it is, man. It is. Like I was already feeling excited. I think everybody has a natural excitement going into a new year because it feels like a fresh start, But this is just like brought it to a level where it's like, wow, let's go, man. Like, let's go. Still gotta wait a week, of course. But yeah, best podcast of the year, hands down. I also want to say, and this is a bit random, but there is a big change coming to YouTube in, I think, the middle of January next year. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with this or know that this is going to happen. But YouTube Shorts. So I'm sure many of you know YouTube Shorts. The big change they're making is come mid-January, YouTube Shorts are going to be monetizable now. They were never monetizable before, as far as I'm aware. Like, people weren't making money off of Shorts. That's changing come mid-January. And I'm going to be paying close attention to this as a content creator because this is clearly a big deal for YouTube. To go from we're not paying content creators to do short form content to now we are. Clearly they're trying to compete heavily with TikTok. I don't know. It might be something I experiment with. I'm not a fan. I got to be honest. Like, I'm not a big fan of that type of content. I appreciate it sometimes. Like, I watch meme videos occasionally and whatnot. But I guess I'm just saying that, we could see what we could do there. If you guys have any ideas, can't promise I'll take them. But if you have any ideas, leave a comment under here. And you know what? I might do a separate video. You know what? Maybe this works out. I'm sure some of you before I leave are asking. I'm sure some of you are asking, dude, I thought you were going to do some community submissions. You're right. It's too late now. But maybe what this means is I can do a separate video for you guys covering this. We could just do like because I have, oh, wow, it's archived. hold on. Oh my God. You know, another thing that YouTube changed that I can't find it. Okay, so it's not deleted. It's just archived. I have to find it. But when I do, I think I have like over 100 replies or something like that. And I feel bad because I did ask you guys. I did ask you guys to like leave your questions and your thoughts and whatever. And I told you I was going to talk about it in the podcast. Wasn't able to do that. Things got a little bit crazy. So maybe I'll do a separate video, maybe a longer form video. Maybe it could just be like end of the year. Let's have some fun. Maybe that could be like a pre-recorded podcast or whatever. I don't know. Maybe we could make it like a weekly thing. I'm not sure. But I'll do something with it. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm pretty sure YouTube archived it. I had it set for 24 hours. It's locked now. I can't find it. I hope it didn't get deleted. I'll have to triple check that and see what's going on. But that's my hope. Anyway, I am rambling now. That's how you can tell I'm getting tired. So that's it, guys. That is the end of 2022 when it comes to podcasting for me, at least live. One last time, Press X Podcast episode 141 will go live January 1st, 2023, Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern. Yes, Space Gambler Jr., episode 140 in the books. Christopher says, enjoy Christmas with your loved ones. And that's it. Yeah, man, I hope everybody has a great holiday. I hope everybody gets to spend good time with their family and their friends, gets to relax, decompress. I got to tell you guys, after tonight's podcast, I feel like I'm going to be able to do all of those things so much better now. I feel a lot less stressed about, the next week and a half or so. I was a little bit nervous about like, what am I gonna do? But I think things are all working out. So thank you, man. All right, guys, that does it. I'm gonna finish my hot chocolate and get some rest. So thank you again, and I will catch you all hopefully with some regular content throughout the upcoming week. But I'll catch you in the next podcast, January 1st. So until then, guys, take care.